Chapter 267. However, he also knew that he was Medicine Master's son in the warrior's market. Once he left the warrior's market and joined an aristocratic family, he wouldn't be as powerful as he was now. Although he might be respected in that family, what would happen once he left the family? Other families couldn't see the value and benefits you had, so they wouldn't bother with you anymore. There was no use in pleasing you because you were serving a specific family. It was different now. Now that Medicine Master's son belonged to the warrior's market, basically all the families would beg him. He didn't want to give up his current connections and status, so he could only endure some things. "Young Master Kun, you're here." Medicine Master's son nodded to Yu Shaochuan. "Medicine Master's son, I'm sorry to disturb you again." Yu Shaochuan walked in and closed the door. He said, "I've heard about the Sun family. Is there anything I can help with?" "There's no need for the time being. Our Sun family has already joined the Shao family." Medicine Master's son didn't hide it. After all, it was impossible to hide this matter. This news would spread quickly, and Yu Shaochuan would know by then. Joined the Shao family? Yu Shaochuan was stunned. How did the Sun family join the Shao family? Wouldn't it be more difficult to touch Shao Qin in this way? "Young Master Kun, you know the situation of the Sun family. If we don't choose a family to join, our Sun family will end up miserable. However, looking at these families, only the Shao family can really value us." Medicine Master's son said honestly, "If we join the Yu family, will the Yu family value us?" The Shao family has always been weak in business, but the Yu family's Buchuan group has always been the leading enterprise in Songning City's business circle. Yu Shaochuan nodded in agreement with Medicine Master's son's words. Indeed, if the Sun family joined the Yu family wouldn't value them at all. The only one they would value was Medicine Master's son. With the Sun family as a link, Medicine Master's son would serve the Yu family better. However, this wasn't a good choice for the Sun family. Yes, there's nothing to say about the Sun family's actions. Yu Shaochuan nodded. He instantly thought about the other aristocratic families in Songning City, and realized that only the Shao family was the most suitable. The other families were rising, and the Sun family could only be regarded as the icing on the cake. Of course, Yu Shaochuan didn't have any intention of annexing the Shao family. As the representative of a righteous sect, the Yu clan wouldn't have such thoughts. "It's good that you understand." Medicine Master's son nodded. "May I know why you're here?" "It's like this, Medicine Master Sunday. Have you heard of the body cleansing pill?" Yu Shaochuan asked. "Body cleansing pill? What does it do? Detoxify and temper the body?" Medicine Master's son was stunned. "Yes, it's detoxification and body tempering. Haven't you heard of it?" Yu Shaochuan was a little depressed. Judging from Medicine Master's son's expression, he probably hadn't heard of it. "No, it's just that legend has it that there's a pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. It's a type of spiritual pill, but it's been lost for many years. I heard that it was invented by the former honorary president of the Hong Chamber of Commerce. With my level, it's impossible for me to make it." Medicine Master's son said, "The others that have this effect are all elixirs. As you know, elixirs can't be made by ordinary medicine masters. There aren't many of them in our warrior's market. They're the treasures of our shops." "I see." Yu Shaochuan was instantly disappointed. Could it be that he could only rely on Shao Qin? He didn't know where that bastard Shao Feng got it from. He even disappeared. It was impossible to find out more. "Yes, young Master Sunday. You're talking about the pill that Shao Qin gave Tang Tang, right?" Medicine Master's son asked as he thought of something. "Yes, the Yu clan and the Tang clan are planning to unite by marriage again. However, Tang Tang's problem occurs regularly. Medicine Master's son, you also know that her body secretes toxins regularly. Therefore, in order to keep her in this state, she must take the detoxification pill," Yu Shaochuan said. "I know, but I really don't know where Shao Qin got it from. I'll ask around for you, but don't get your hopes up," Medicine Master's son said. "Alright, "Thank you, Medicine Master Sunday," Yu Xiaochuan exchanged a few pleasantries before taking his leave. He did not want to continue chatting here and left the warrior's market. Not long after Yu Xiaochuan left, Medicine Master Sun received good news from the Sun clan. As expected, the Sun clan said that they would let the Xiao family use all their channels for free. They would only take a small share of the profits, which was the operating expenses, and the rest would belong to the Xiao family. Xiao Hai also saw the Sun clan's sincerity. The cooperation was quite smooth. Of course, Xiao Hai didn't think too much. He didn't know that the Sun clan's intention was to gradually annex the Xiao family through the cooperation with the Xiao family. He thought that the Sun clan just wanted to make a comeback. He didn't know the situation of his father's poisoning at all. In his opinion, with his father's strength, it wouldn't be a problem for him to live for more than 100 years. The Xiao family wouldn't collapse for the time being. If there was a chance for Xiao Chen to return, the Xiao family could also be guaranteed to continue. As for Xiao Xiao, he didn't have much hope. First, Xiao Xiao was a girl. If she got married, she would belong to another family. Second, even if Xiao Xiao gave birth to a child and adopted him into the Xiao family and changed his surname to Xiao, he wouldn't be considered as a member of the Xiao family. What's more, her husband's family was willing to let you adopt him. The resistance for Xiao Chen to return to the Xiao family was completely on the Qing family. With the Xiao family's current declining situation, it was impossible to wrestle with the Qing family. The cooperation with the Sun clan was an opportunity. If the Xiao family could grow stronger, then it wouldn't be difficult for Xiao Chen to return. That was why Xiao Hai agreed so quickly and was very excited. Although Xiao Yuanshan was vaguely worried about something, he couldn't do anything about it. His condition was getting worse. If he really let go, only Xiao Hai would be left in the Xiao family. They probably wouldn't be able to stand on the position of an aristocratic family. At noon, Xiao Chen went back, and Tang Tang packed up her stall. Since Xiao Chen was not here, she was not in the mood to set up a stall anymore. After returning to the Tang family, the money she earned was nothing at all. She didn't need to save for her college tuition anymore, because her family would naturally pay for it. Although she felt a bit self-deprecating, it was the truth. Tang Tang didn't want to do useless work. She missed Xiao Chen by selling fried dough sticks here alone. After returning to the villa, Xiao Chen gave the fried dough sticks, soybean milk, and bean curd pudding to Miss Tang and Jean Bebe. Then, the three of them drove to the construction site of Maliwan. The car they drove was still Jean Bebe's golden Panamera. The construction site of Maliwan was actually an amusement park. However, halfway through the construction, the investor ran away because of the debt, so the project was left unfinished. Now, the city was preparing to bid for a new investor to enter the park. However, it was still in an abandoned state. Therefore, it became the second place for car racing besides the road in Fighting Dragon Mountain. However, this place was going to be rebuilt soon. There were no large-scale car racing competitions here. Only some amateur racers occasionally came here to compete with each other. The real competition was still on the road in Fighting Dragon Mountain. When Xiao Chen, Qing Menjing, and Jean Bebe arrived, Chao Yuliang, Chen Jinpeng, Li Shanying, and Lin Chao had already arrived. On the yacht that day, Li Shanying and Lin Chao were both wearing oversized sunglasses. They didn't think that Xiao Chen could recognize them. Therefore, they didn't try to hide anything at this moment. Seeing that Xiao Chen and the others had arrived, Chen Jinpeng and Shen Jingxian immediately went to greet them. Looking at Shen Jingxian, who was walking over gracefully like a fairy, Xiao Chen's heart couldn't help but skip a beat. Thinking of the ambiguous scene on the island, he couldn't help but look at Shen Jingxian a few more times. However, Shen Jingxian acted as if she didn't see him. She walked directly to Qing Menjing, who was next to him. "Menjing, you're here too." Shen Jingxian held Qing Menjing's hand. "Yeah, I missed you, so I came." Qing Menjing naturally wouldn't admit that she was also worried about Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen smiled bitterly. It seemed that goddess Jing Xian was also an otherworldly fairy. She pretended not to see him when she saw him. Her mental strength was also very strong. Xiao Chen, let me introduce you. This is Lin Chao, Li Shanying's junior brother. This time, he is the one who wants to challenge you. Qin Jinpeng introduced Lin Chao to Xiao Chen. Oh, Lin Chao, right? Your brother fell to his death. It has nothing to do with me. If you want to find someone, find the person who asked him to come and race with me. Don't look for me. Xiao Chen looked at Lin Chao and said. I just admire young Master Zhao's driving skills. I want to compete with you. Lin Chao laughed and said. Oh, I'm afraid that after you die, some junior brother will come and take revenge on me. I don't have that much time. Xiao Chen said. Underground racing, life and death is up to fate. This is something everyone knows. I also said that I only want to challenge the strong. Lin Chao said. Oh, okay. Xiao Chen looked at Li Shanying, who was at the side. He immediately recognized this guy as one of the people who drove the yacht last time. Lin Chao was the second one. Who is this? What is he doing? Could he be Lin Chao's junior brother? After he died, you came to challenge me? I'm Lin Chao's friend. I'm here to broaden my horizons. Originally, it was planned that Li Shanying would be Lin Chao's junior brother or assistant. But now, it couldn't be said like this. If he also knew how to race, what if Xiao Chen was afraid that he would continue to challenge him and directly rejected him? Oh, racing is very dangerous. Unrelated people shouldn't watch. I'm afraid that if something happens to you, you will blame it on me. Xiao Chen said. Since I dared to come, I'm considered bold. If something happens, I definitely can't look for you. Li Shanying quickly said. Alright, how do we compete? Xiao Chen looked at Lin Chao. Where's the ancient jade? Did you bring it? Lin Chao turned his head and looked at Li Shanying. Li Shanying immediately ran over and took out a small box from a car not far away. He placed it on top of Xiao Chen's Panamera. Chapter 268. Lin Chao took it and opened it in front of Xiao Chen. These are all of them. Please take a look. Xiao Chen didn't look at it carefully. He just reached out and touched them one by one. His heart was slightly moved. Among these 5 ancient jades, 2 of them were spiritual jades. As for the remaining 3, one of them had very little spiritual energy. It could be determined to be real jade. The remaining 2 didn't have any spiritual energy at all. They were definitely fake jade. You dare to take out these 2 fakes to fool me? Xiao Chen glared and turned to leave. Are you looking down on me? I'm not playing anymore. I'm leaving. Li Shanying's heart skipped a beat. There were indeed 2 fakes mixed in, and they were the 2 that Xiao Chen pointed out. He was shocked. Xiao Chen actually recognized the ancient jade? Wasn't he talking nonsense before? However, it was reasonable for a playboy to recognize the ancient jade. These people weren't good at other things, but they were good at studying these hobbies. Just like his brother, Li Shanpao. Wasn't he a racer? However, the colorful Li family didn't need a racer like him. The Li family was on a different level from the Xiao family. Oh. They're fakes? Li Shanying pretended not to know. Brother Chao, what's going on? Xiao Chen, we aren't good at this. These are the spoils of war that I won. If you don't think these 2 are good enough, aren't there 3 more? You can always choose one, right? Lin Chao said. Alright then. Best of 3. Let's start. Xiao Chen didn't really want to leave. He was just playing a playboy. Best of 3? Li Shanying was slightly stunned. Let's do best of 5. That way, it will be more fair. Although from his point of view, every battle that he prepared might cause Xiao Chen to lose, but what if Xiao Chen was lucky and didn't die? If Xiao Chen really won 2 rounds in the end and left with the ancient jade, then he would really be screwed. This ancient jade was his grandfather's collection. He said that he was borrowing it. If Xiao Chen really took it away, how was he going to explain it to his grandfather? If it was those two fakes, it would have been fine. However, Xiaochen had good eyesight and immediately saw through it. One had to know that the two fakes were the ones with the best quality among the 5 pieces of ancient jade. He wanted to trick Xiaochen, but Xiaochen did not fall for it. 3 wins out of 5? Xiaochen was a little impatient. What's in it for me to play a few more rounds? Who are you? Aren't you Lin Chao's friend? Can you represent Lin Chao? This. Li Shanying's words instantly became sluggish, and he said, Lin Chao told me before that I'm not representing him, but this is also his intention. Not bad. Lin Chao nodded and said, best of 5 then. Then your bet is too small. It's boring, Xiaochen said. Why don't you choose 2 pieces of spiritual jade from here as your spoils? When Lin Chao said that, he glanced at Li Shanning. Seeing that Li Shanning did not object, he continued, it was originally 1 piece. Now it's 2 pieces. Is that okay? That's more like it. Xiaochen said, tell me the rules. Okay, the first race is a normal track. We've also chosen the real karting track in the amusement park. It's mainly a race. Whoever reaches the finish line first wins. Lin Chao introduced concisely, you can use your own car or the car that we provide for you. It doesn't matter. Don't say that your car is not as good as ours when you lose. Oh, I'll use Panamera. Tycoon Jean Bebe is my goddess of luck, Xiaochen said. Oh. Bebe is so honored. Come on, cousin-in-law. Jean Bebe said shyly. On Lin Chao's side, there was not only 1 car. They had a lot of cars. There was Chen Jinpeng's Volkswagen, Chao Yuliang's Audi R8 sports car, Lin Chao's modified BMW M6 sports car, and Li Shanying's Land Rover Range Rover. The group of people arrived near the go-kart racing track. Xiaochen realized that although this go-kart racing track didn't have any high difficulty positions like sharp bends, because it wasn't built properly, there were ravines and rivers on both sides of the road. If they were to accidentally rush off the track, it wouldn't be a joke. At that time, there would definitely be protective fences on both sides of the track. Furthermore, the speed of the karting car would not be too fast. They would not be able to rush out at all, so there would not be any danger. However, it would be very dangerous to use it to race. Although this track is a little dangerous, it should not be a problem for Xiaochen, right? Lin Chao was afraid that Xiaochen would be timid, so he deliberately said so. Oh, if you think it's okay, then it's okay. Xiaochen nodded. Then let's get started. Don't dawdle. The last ride was quite interesting. I want to go for a ride again. As a driver, why don't you take me for a ride? Cheng Menjing glanced at Xiaochen and said. You don't have to go. You are my mistress. I am under a lot of pressure in the car. Xiaochen knew that Cheng Menjing did this to make Chao Yuliang afraid, but in fact, Xiaochen felt that the man beside Lin Chao was in charge this time. He was the leader. This person looked similar to Li Shanpao. Could they be relatives? Cheng Menjing was a little annoyed. I am afraid that you will die, so I want to ride in the car. Do you think I want to ride in your car? There are plenty of people who want to invite me to ride in their cars. Xiaochen didn't bother with him. Instead, he turned to look at Shen Jingxian and said, I say, little Peng, why don't you lend me your fiancé? Anyway, you are addicted to being cuckolded. I just happen to lack a woman in my car. Qin Jinpeng was a little stunned. However, Chao Yuliang on the side was relieved. As long as it isn't Cheng Menjing, it's fine. He knew that this time, Li Shanning probably wouldn't stop until he was dead. Even if Cheng Menjing sat in Xiao Chen's car, she would definitely die. However, he couldn't dissuade her. Wouldn't he be exposed? Therefore, when he heard that Xiao Chen chose Shen Jingxian, Chao Yuliang was relieved. At this time, he opened his mouth and said, Jinpeng, you have this hobby? Qin Jinpeng was bitter. He wanted to disagree, but he was afraid that Xiao Chen would turn around and leave. Li Shanying's anger wasn't easy to deal with, but, if Shen Jingxian got in the car, wouldn't that be courting death? At this time, Li Shanning also saw the problem. He tugged at Chen Jinpeng and said in a low voice, "If this matter is settled, the Li family will cooperate with the Qin family. You also know our Li family's position in the warrior guild. At that time, it's not impossible for your father to be promoted to the position of president." When Chen Jinpeng heard this, it was as if he had been injected with chicken blood. It was true that he liked Shen Jingxian, but if his father became the president of the warrior guild, he could totally marry a better woman. Now that Shen Jingxian was indifferent to him, he could change to another one. Thinking of this, Chen Jinpeng made a decision in an instant. "Xiao Chen, it's not that I like to be cuckolded, I'm just more open-minded." "Alright, then let Jingxian sit in your car." "Thank you." Xiao Chen opened the car door and said to Shen Jingxian, "Goddess Jingxian, please get in the car." Shen Jingxian frowned and looked at Qing Menjing. Qing Menjing wanted to say something but stopped. She didn't believe that Shen Jingxian couldn't see through the motive of Chao Yuliang's group, so this kind of matter could only be decided by Shen Jingxian herself. However, based on Qing Menjing's understanding of Shen Jingxian, she was a kind girl and would definitely get in the car to protect Xiao Chen secretly. "Alright." Shen Jingxian got in the car. Xiao Chen also got in the car and drove the car to the starting point of the go-kart track, getting ready. In the car, Shen Jingxian glared at Xiao Chen. "How can you be so bold to ask me to get in the car in front of Menjing? I'm also in front of your fiancé." Xiao Chen reached out to hold Shen Jingshuan's hand. Shen Jingshuan's body stiffened subconsciously, and she withdrew her small hand from Xiao Chen's big hand. "Xiao Chen, it's not good for us to do this. The matter on the island was a misunderstanding." "Oh, I know." Xiao Chen continued to hold Shen Jingshuan's hand, but he didn't manage to do so he simply put his hand on Shen Jingshuan's thigh. "You. What are you doing?" Shen Jingxian was shocked and quickly pushed Xiao Chen's hand away. "I wanted to change the gear, but I touched the wrong place. I'm just not used to this sports car." Xiao Chen laughed dryly, and he also felt that he seemed to have gone overboard. However, Shen Jingxian agreed to get in the car just now, which made Xiao Chen feel a little smug. Xiao Chen glanced at Shen Jingxian, who was in the front passenger seat. Seeing her pursing her lips and slightly short of breath, Xiao Chen sighed and said, "I'm sorry, no. It's nothing." Shen Jingxian shook her head. Her heart was in a mess. She thought that she could face Xiao Chen like before, but sitting in Xiao Chen's car and being taken advantage of by Xiao Chen, Shen Jingxian couldn't help but want Xiao Chen to continue. Shen Jingxian was a little shocked by her attitude. Had she become bad? I actually have this kind of thought. Is this considered as secretly having an affair with Xiao Chen's fiancé and my fiancé in the car? Lin Chao's car also drove over. He wasn't like Xiao Chen, who directly drove over, but he did a final inspection of the car before coming over. Moreover, Xiao Chen didn't know much about cars, so he just let it be. Anyway, he was a cultivator, so he wouldn't die. "Xiao Chen, are you ready?" Lin Chao asked with the car loudspeaker. "DD." Xiao Chen pressed the horn twice, indicating that he was ready. Boom! The engine of Lin Chao's BMW M6 roared fiercely, and he was already preparing for a sprint. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Chen Jinpeng held the loudspeaker and shouted the countdown. When the number 1 blurted out, Lin Chao's car was like an arrow that left the bow as it flew out, while Xiao Chen's Panamera leisurely chased after it. "Be careful, it doesn't matter if you lose." The person beside Lin Chao is called Li Shanying, Li Shanpao's younger brother. This operation was mainly planned by him, and his goal is to avenge his dead brother. When Shen Jingxian came, she had already found out the situation from Chen Jinpeng's mouth. Chapter 269. As soon as Shen Jingxian opened her mouth, Chen Jinpeng told her the whole truth. There was no need to ask for more information. Shen Jingxian wanted to find a chance to talk to Xiao Chen. Since she was in the car, it was convenient. My power is beyond my imagination. Isn't that what you said? Xiaochen smiled and said, Goddess Jingxian, it's hard to say who will die. Li Shanpao also wanted to kill me. Didn't he also die? Li Shanpao. Did you really kill him? Shen Jingxian was a little surprised. Yes. Xiaochen nodded, not only that, but I also killed Chen Jingkuan. What? Shen Jingxian was a little shocked. She never thought that Chen Jingkuan's death was not an accident, but Xiaochen did it. But why did Xiaochen do it? Wasn't he afraid that the Chen family would find out? Didn't he die in an accident? How did you do it? If the Chen family found out, don't you know you will be in danger? If they found out, they would have found out. Xiaochen shook his head indifferently. I killed Chen Jingkuan because he wanted to deal with Tang Tang, and because I like you. When Shen Jingxian heard the last sentence of Xiaochen, she became silent and lowered her head. Xiaochen shocked her too much. She never thought that Xiaochen was such a strong person before. As she got to know Xiaochen better, Shen Jingxian found that Xiaochen was more and more incomprehensible to her. There were too many mysteries about Xiaochen. Chen Jingkuan and Li Shanpao died in an accident. This was not the ability of a warrior at all. Even masters at the level of her father and grandfather might not be able to do it. How did Xiaochen do it? He likes me, so he killed Chen Jingkuan for me? Shen Jingxian suddenly felt very happy. If it was in the past, even if she didn't like Chen Jingkuan, she would still sympathize with him when he died, right? Therefore, Shen Jingxian felt that she had become bad. How could she be happy when Xiaochen killed Qin Jinpeng? Moreover, Shen Jingxian didn't like a cruel person like Xiaochen in the past. But now, she felt that what Xiaochen did was right. To be honest, Shen Jingxian more or less knew what happened that day. Chen Jingkuan wanted to find someone to gang rape Tang Tang. It was not an exaggeration for Xiaochen to kill him. It was just that, as long as he liked it, he would kill you. Don't tell me you've killed Qin Jinpeng as well? Not for the time being. But if he continues to help the wicked and make trouble for me, then he is not far from death. Xiaochen said. With the improvement of Xiaochen's strength, even if he didn't kill these unstable factors, Xiaochen would cripple him, or directly destroy the Qin family. Then Qin Jinpeng would be nothing. Don't kill him for the time being. You are exposed. What should I do? Shen Jingxian was a little confused. Xiaochen wanted to kill her fiancé, but she actually said not to kill him for the time being. Shen Jingxian felt a little crazy after she said that. How could she become so bad? Well. Xiaochen was ready to speed up, but he suddenly felt that there was something wrong with the car. He took a closer look and found that there was a layer of looming coating on the go-kart track. As for what it was, Xiaochen didn't know, but it had been abandoned for a long time and was weathered by wind and rain, and this coating was obviously applied recently. Xiaochen didn't speed up before, so he didn't feel it so obvious. But as soon as he sped up, Xiaochen clearly felt that the friction between the wheels and the ground increased a lot, but it was not simple friction. This was because Xiaochen could see from the rearview mirror that the wheels of the car left black marks on the road that he had passed, just like the brake marks left by braking. It seemed that this coating should be some kind of substance that destroyed the tires. As for what it was, Xiaochen didn't know, but if this continued, if the tires of the car continued to be rubbed like this, they would become thinner and thinner. When the tires burst, the car would lose control and drive directly into the gully or river on the side. If that was not done well, they would probably die. Thinking of this, Xiaochen understood the conspiracy of this game, and a sneer flashed across the corner of his mouth. Xiaochen, there is a problem with this road. Shen Jingxian saw that Xiaochen's expression suddenly became dignified. She also looked around and found the long tire marks behind the car. You see, there are tire marks behind the car. I'm afraid the rubber will become thinner and thinner. We can stop and admit defeat. Otherwise, if the tires are worn out, we will become a pair of ill-fated lovebirds. Xiaochen smiled. Xiao Chen, why are you still smiling? Shen Jingxian was a little speechless with anger. Don't worry. I didn't die even when I fell into the sea and encountered a shark. This is a piece of cake. Xiao Chen said, the TT is only 0.3 millimeters. It can't even be worn out, let alone the tires. TT. Shen Jingxian was stunned, and then her face turned red. She rolled her eyes at Xiao Chen. Don't say such a low-level joke in front of me in the future. Not in front of you, but in front of your legs. Xiao Chen remembered when he was on the island, Shen Jingxian rode on his head. You still dare to say it? Shen Jingshuan's face was even redder. She glared at Xiao Chen with some embarrassment. I was afraid that you would be afraid, so I adjusted the atmosphere. Xiao Chen quickly said, okay, I won't say it anymore. It's okay. You can rest assured. I won't let you die even if I die. Don't talk nonsense. No one is allowed to die, said Shen Jingxian. Okay. Xiao Chen smiled. Lin Chao was a little puzzled. Is this Xiao Chen really stupid or is he pretending to be stupid? He didn't notice that there was a problem with the road? And he drove so fast? Didn't he know that the faster he drove, the faster the tires would burst? All BMW cars were equipped with anti-burst tires. His wheels were no exception. Although anti-burst tires weren't good for racing, normal tires would be used during normal races. However, Lin Chao didn't change it for this round. But even so, he didn't dare to drive too fast. If the rubber of the tires were worn out, how could he drive with only the steel rims left? So, when he saw Xiao Chen's speed increasing, he felt a little regretful. Dying in the first round? There's really no challenge. This is the rhythm of courting death. The subsequent plans were also in vain. But even if Xiao Chen drove fast, due to the problems with the tires and the ground, the speed wouldn't be particularly fast. Lin Chao had already pulled away by a large distance, so the possibility of Xiao Chen winning was almost zero. Wait? F***CK? Lin Chao suddenly realized that when Xiao Chen turned the corner, he was actually drifting. He still dared to drift on this kind of road? Isn't this the rhythm of making the tires wear out faster? Lin Chao really didn't know what to say. This Xiao Chen really dared to die. If he didn't court death, he wouldn't die. Xiao Chen's speed was getting faster and faster. In the blink of an eye, he was behind Lin Chao. Lin Chao didn't want to lose. If he lost in the first round, wouldn't it show that he didn't have any standards? So, Lin Chao had no choice but to bite the bullet and speed up. Luckily, his car was anti-burst tires. Even if the tires were worn out, the most he could do was not drive. It was impossible for the car to lose control. So, Lin Chao had just started to speed up, and Xiao Chen had already overtaken him. Behind the car, there was a long tire mark. Humph, you're really rushing to die. Since you want to die faster, then I can't do anything about it. Lin Chao said indifferently. Lin Chao followed behind, but he didn't dare to overtake too quickly. He could only maintain that he didn't fall too far behind. Otherwise, if the rubber of the wheels were worn out, he wouldn't have any way to continue driving. Will the tires really not burst? Shen Jingxian was a little worried. They won't. Xiao Chen said with certainty. He had already infused essence energy onto the wheels. The wheels were already augmented by essence energy, turning into an immortal wheel. Although it was impossible for them not to wear out, the speed of wear out was greatly reduced. Furthermore, even if they were worn out, Xiao Chen could also use essence energy to wrap the wheels, allowing it to persist for a distance. Although it consumed more essence energy, recently, Xiao Chen had a lot of essence energy. If he didn't break through at night, the accumulated essence energy would also be wasted. Not knowing why, hearing Xiao Chen's "they won't," Shen Jingxian suddenly felt especially at ease. She felt like she didn't have to be afraid of anything. After running a distance, Lin Chao was somewhat puzzled. What was going on? Why didn't Xiao Chen's tires King burst? Logically speaking, it should be about time, right? Li Shanning, who was watching the competition from afar, was also a little puzzled. He looked at Xiao Yuliang and Qin Jinpeng. What's going on? Are Xiao Chen's wills also specially modified? How is that possible? He only goes to school every day. Why would he modify this thing? Qin Jinpeng shook his head, indicating that it was unlikely. However, he was very worried about Shen Jingxian. After all, she was the goddess that he liked. Most importantly, she died before he even had sex with her. It would have been fine if he had sex with her. That's really strange. Could it be that his tires are thicker and of better quality? Li Shanning shook his head. On the other side, Qing Menjing was also watching the competition with a frown. Jean Bebe was dancing and cheering at the side. That's enough, Bebe. Stop for a while. Xiao Chen can't hear you cheering. Qing Menjing was a little annoyed. Xiao Chen was her servant, and Qing Menjing was her bestie. What should she do if something happened to them? Humph, it's all Xiao Chen's fault. Why did he bring Shen Jingxian with him when he was courting death? You like Shen Jingxian, so you let her die with you? You are so heartless. I want to get in the car, but you don't need me, oh. Jean Bebe sat down. Cousin Menjing, do you think it's possible that Sister Jingxian is with cousin-in-law? It seems that Sister Jingxian is very concerned about cousin-in-law. That's Jingshuan's character. She won't sit and watch when anyone is in danger. Qing Menjing shook her head. She didn't think much about it. After all, Shen Jingxian was a very kind person. Oh. Okay. Jean Bebe said, anyway, I think you have to work hard. Otherwise, cousin-in-law is so excellent that he will be snatched away sooner or later. You think he's excellent? Why don't I think so? Qing Menjing snorted. She thought to herself that Xiao Chen really had a lot of advantages. Why didn't she know about them before? Blind dates are harmful. Free love is better than blind dates. Chapter 270. You're blind, Jean Bebe said. What did you say? Qing Menjing said angrily, say it again? Nothing. Jean Bebe stopped talking. The race was still going on intensely. Lin Chao was getting more and more confused. They were getting closer and closer to the finish line. There was less than a third of the distance left. Why hadn't Xiao Chen's tires burst yet? According to his previous estimation, it would be good if Xiao Chen's car could at most last until halfway through the racetrack. This was already an extraordinary performance. However, seeing that the finish line was getting closer and closer, Lin Chao could only speed up. Previously, he was counting on Xiao Chen to lose if his tires burst, but now, he could only work hard himself. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Lin Chao stepped on the accelerator and chased after him. However, even though he was fast, Xiao Chen wasn't slow either. Especially when Xiao Chen was drifting when he turned the corner. Lin Chao had no choice but to start drifting. 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 In the end, Xiao Chen crossed the finish line. Lin Chao was still lagging behind by more than 10 meters despite his best efforts. When Lin Chao crossed the finish line, his tires were worn out, revealing the steel rims inside. Without a doubt, Xiao Chen had won. The karting track was a big circle, so the two of them returned to the starting point. Li Shanning's eyes widened. He couldn't believe it. Why didn't Xiao Chen's tires burst and die? It wasn't realistic to say that the coating on the track was ineffective. After all, Lin Chao's own tires were worn out. However, he saw that Xiao Chen's tires were fine. He was a little anxious. Of course, he was pretending to be Lin Chao's friend, so it was easier for him to say this. That's not right. Brother Chao, your tires are worn out. Why are Xiao Chen's tires fine? Both of you are drifting. What's going on? Isn't this karting track equivalent to destroying the tires? I don't know. Lin Chao was also very puzzled. Li Shanning asked him, but he didn't know who to ask. Li Shanning was especially astonished. He had personally hired someone to do the coding, so it was impossible for there to be any problems. Moreover, if there was a problem, why didn't Lin Chao have any problems? Xiao Chen and Shen Jingxian got out of the car. Shen Jingxian heaved a sigh of relief. Xiao Chen really didn't brag. However, the more it was like this, the more Shen Jingxian felt that Xiao Chen was a little unfathomable. Jingxian, are you okay? Cheng Menjing ran over and held Shen Jingshuan's hand. This guy drives too fast. He doesn't listen to me. I'll teach him a lesson when we get home. Hee, it's fine. Shen Jingxian shook her head with a smile. She suddenly felt a little envious of Cheng Menjing. Go home. Can I go home with Xiao Chen? Xiao Chen was ignored, but Jean Bebe danced in front of Xiao Chen and praised him. Cousin-in-law, you are so awesome. I like you so much. Jean Bebe shouted. Hearing Jean Bebe's ambiguous words, Xiao Chen felt a little helpless. Although he knew that Jean Bebe might not mean that, he couldn't help but let his imagination run wild. Compared with Goddess Shen, Jean Bebe gave Xiao Chen a different feeling. He was also very happy to trick people with her. Seeing Xiao Chen and the others so excited, Li Shanning couldn't help but walk to Xiao Chen's Panamera. You are not right. In his opinion, Lin Chao's tires had been so worn out, but Xiao Chen was still fine. Were his tires made of diamond? Squatting down, Li Shanning began to study Xiao Chen's tires. He looked left and right and found that the tires were all original ones, not new ones. But that made him even weirder. He reached out his hand and was about to poke the tires of the car. However, after a few loud sounds, the tires in front of him exploded directly. A pebble on the tires shot into Li Shanning's eyes directly. Instantly, Li Shanning screamed and covered his eyes with his hands. Blood flowed out from the gaps between his fingers. Although Li Shanning was a hidden warrior, he was not prepared at all just now. Besides, warriors couldn't train their bodies to train their eyes, which were one of the most vulnerable parts. Besides, he was not a cultivator who could protect his body with primordial qi. Holy *T, Lin Chao, why is your friend so careless? Why did he look at the car for no reason? Is he okay now? Quickly send him to the hospital. The competition is over. Consider it my win. Give me the 2 pieces of ancient jade. Xiao Chen said. He secretly sneered in his heart. Idiot, he had been using his primordial qi to protect the tires, so the tires didn't explode. When Li Shanning went over, he directly contracted his primordial qi, and the tires were squeezed by the primordial qi and exploded. Originally, Xiao Chen just wanted to scare him. Who knew that he would be so unlucky and get blinded by the pebble? No need, I'm fine. Li Shanning was about to go crazy. However, he was unwilling to let Xiao Chen win just like that. He really didn't expect his luck to be so bad. Xiao Chen's tires didn't explode earlier or later. It just had to explode when he went to observe. He couldn't blame anyone but himself for making an unnecessary move. He was also a martial artist. Naturally, he knew that one of his eyes was useless. It would be useless to go to the hospital. He dug out the stone and found a handkerchief to cover his eye, turning him into a one-eyed man. Then, shall we continue the competition? Lin Chao's mouth twitched twice. Fortunately, I didn't look out of curiosity. Otherwise, I would be the one who was blinded. Continue. How could Li Shanning let Xiao Chen win just like that? He was here to kill Xiao Chen. If he let Xiao Chen win, not only would he not be able to get over it, but the ancient jade would also be taken away by Xiao Chen. He wouldn't be able to get over it when he returned home to his grandfather. Okay. Lin Chao nodded. If you are fine, then let's continue the competition. Your friend is really strong, but my car's tire has exploded. How can I compete? Xiao Chen pointed to the Panamera with the exploded tire. The Panamera Standard didn't have a spare tire. Therefore, the competition couldn't continue since Xiao Chen's tire had exploded. Why don't you borrow a car from your friend? Otherwise, if you don't compete, it can only be considered as giving up since you have only won one of the 5 rounds, and the ancient jade can't be taken away by you, said Lin Chao. I see. Xiao Chen thought about it and said, Old Chao, little shed, who can lend me your car? Use mine, Audi R8. As Chao Yuliang said, he gave the car key to Xiao Chen. Okay. Xiao Chen nodded and took the car key. Tell me, what's the competition for this round? In this round, we will compete on continuous bends. Lin Chao said, the so-called continuous bends is to continuously pass through a Z-shaped bend. This is a test of drifting skills and patience. I don't know if Xiao Chen has the confidence. Oh, whatever you say. Let's go then. Xiao Chen nodded and got on Chao Yuliang's Audi R8. Then, he waved to Shen Jingxian and said, get on. Shen Jingxian hesitated for a moment, but she still got on the car. Qing Menjing snorted and didn't say anything. Chen Jinpeng frowned and didn't say anything. He was now thinking that if Shen Jingxian died, he hoped that Li Shaning could fulfill his promise and support the Qin family. Lin Chao's car led the way in front, and Xiao Chen followed behind. The others also sat at the back. They came to the front of a continuous Z-shaped track. This was actually a waterway in the air. After the construction was completed, there would be flowing water above it. It would be similar to the entertainment of the mighty rapids. The passengers would sit in a small boat and slide continuously in the bends at high altitude. Of course, there would be safety measures above the slide. But now, it was just a prototype. If the 2 cars were racing in the air, if they weren't careful and their hands and feet weren't coordinated well, it was very likely that they would rush out. If they fell from such a high altitude, the cars would be destroyed and people would die. Xiao Chen's and Lin Chao's cars were parked side by side in front of the track. The track was arranged from the lowest to the highest, and then to the lowest. Li Shaning, with only one eye, stood beside the 2 cars. Waving the small flag in his hand, he said, get ready. Everyone, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start. It was still Lin Chao's car that rushed out first, followed by Xiao Chen. Qing Menjing and Jean Beibei, who were watching at the side, were a little worried. Although the last competition was also very dangerous and the tires could burst at any time, this was a competition in the sky. If they were not careful and fell down, the car would be destroyed and the passengers would die. Did you cause the tire explosion just now? Shen Jingxian looked at Xiao Chen suspiciously. If she didn't know about Xiao Chen, she wouldn't care. But now it seemed that there was no such coincidence in the world. Yes, I taught that guy a lesson. Xiao Chen nodded. Are you afraid of this race? I thought you wouldn't get in the car. When I'm with you, I feel at ease. Shen Jingxian lowered her head and said in a low voice. There had never been a man who could give her such a feeling. Yet, Xiao Chen gave it to her. This caused Shen Jingxian to sink into a boundless confusion. On the one hand, she was more and more unwilling to be manipulated by her family and marry Qin Jinpeng, who she didn't like. However, for the sake of her younger brother, Shen Jingxian knew that she couldn't be willful. Although Xiao Chen was powerful, he was only one person after all. Even the Xiao family wouldn't bring any tangible benefits to the Shen family. It wouldn't be of much help to her younger brother's promotion. The reason why Shen Zhenghao had chosen the Qin family was that Chen Huan had been promoted. He was the vice president of the Songming Martial Arts Guild. From this point of view, the benefits he brought to the Shen family were tangible. What the Qin family could offer, the Xiao family couldn't. For example, Chen Huanling could use his position as the vice president of the Martial Arts Guild to order directly from the Warriors Market or even the Hong Chamber of Commerce. But could the Xiao family do that? Shen Jingxian sighed slightly. Sometimes, the children of aristocratic families seem to have infinite glory, but in fact, many things were beyond their control. Shen Jingxian couldn't change anything, nor could she influence the decisions of her family. Chapter 271. Then I'm going to speed up. As Xiao Chen said this, he increased the speed of the car, but he suddenly heard an inaudible click, and he was shocked subconsciously. Something is wrong. There must be something wrong with the car. Soon, he found out that something was wrong. The car's brakes were malfunctioning. Xiao Chen couldn't help but sneer. This Chao Yuliang is really scheming. He made a faulty car. I'm afraid that the brake system is destroyed by radio wave manipulation. Otherwise, why was there no problem before? What's wrong? Shen Jingxian seemed to have noticed the problem. The brakes are broken. Xiao Chen said, Chao Yuliang really dared to do it. You are also in the car, in their eyes, there is only profit. I can see through it. Shen Jingxian shrugged. Although Chen Jinpeng liked her, in the face of absolute profit, he could also give up her. Wasn't it now? And Shen Jingxian felt that Xiao Chen's love was true love. If it were Xiao Chen would never give up her for profit. Never mind for profit, even the person who gave him profit would probably be killed by Xiao Chen. This was Xiao Chen's character. Although he was somewhat ruthless and unreasonable, Shen Jingxian found that she liked this kind of Xiao Chen. The sense of security he gave her made Shen Jingxian very comfortable. The children of big families are all like that. Xiao Chen smiled indifferently. Aren't you also a child of a big family? Shen Jingxian rolled her eyes at Xiao Chen, but he didn't seem to see it. Me, am I not an ordinary person now? Xiao Chen said, if I were still the same as before, would you be so good to me? Who, got along with you? Shen Jingxian stammered, we're just familiar with each other. Well, I'm a little familiar with your body, Xiao Chen said. Hey, don't always say that. I don't think it's good. Every time Shen Jingxian heard Xiao Chen's words, she didn't feel annoyed. Instead, she felt excited. She didn't know why. I just want you to forget about the broken brakes, said Xiao Chen. Yeah. The brake is broken, and you're still so calm. What should we do? Shen Jingxian was reminded by Xiao Chen and immediately remembered the brake. If it breaks, don't brake, Xiao Chen said lightly. Shen Jingxian was speechless. Without the brake, Xiao Chen could only accelerate all the way. With Xiao Chen's driving skills and the support of his Yuan Qi, there wouldn't be any problem without the brake. Even if they were high up in the sky, Xiao Chen couldn't rush down. Soon, he caught up with Lin Chao. This kind of Z-shaped bend could only be overtaken at the bend. There was enough space at the bend. Perhaps it was because this amusement park would have some water supply or flushing facilities at the bend, but it hadn't been added yet. It could be used to overtake. However, when Xiao Chen met Lin Chao, it wasn't a bend in front, but an ordinary straight road. Therefore, Xiao Chen directly hit the rear of Lin Chao's car. When the car collided, Xiao Chen used his Yuan Qi to protect the entire car. Therefore, the back of Lin Chao's car was hit directly, but Xiao Chen's car was fine. Lin Chao was shocked and subconsciously gripped the steering wheel. This was high up in the sky. It wasn't a joke. If he fell, he would die. Lin Chao had no choice but to speed up. Originally, he thought that Xiao Chen's brakes weren't good. He should have lost control very quickly and the car would be destroyed. However, it was unbelievable that he could still drive here. Lin Chao wanted to play it safe. Although his driving skills were superb, there weren't many protective measures at this high altitude. The edge of the track was just a short metal edge. If he wasn't careful, he could rush out. But now, Xiao Chen was eyeing him from behind. He had no choice but to accelerate and accelerate. However, Xiao Chen was still in hot pursuit. Finally, at a lower position on the track, Xiao Chen accelerated and directly pushed Lin Chao's car off the track. Although Xiao Chen could have done that earlier, he didn't. It was obvious that he had done it on purpose. Even if the brakes failed, it would be hard to explain when the time came. But now, he had only eliminated Lin Chao. Since he wouldn't die from a fall from this height, Li Shanning wouldn't have much to say. Lin Chao's car flew out and fell off the track. Even though the height wasn't too high, it was still more than 2 meters. After the car fell, it rolled a few times. It was obviously broken, and it was impossible to continue using it. Shen Jingxian didn't scream. She just held on to the handle of the car and the seatbelt. She didn't expect Xiao Chen to have the guts to finish off the race like this. After that, Xiao Chen rushed all the way and quickly reached the finish line. The car found a construction mound, pulled the handbrake, and raised the accelerator. After the car rushed to the mound, it rubbed for a while before slowly coming to a stop. Xiao Chen got out of the car with Shen Jingxian. Lin Chao had already gotten out of the car. Fortunately, his car had been modified, and he was also a professional racer. He knew how to protect himself when there was a car accident, so he wasn't injured. I say, Lin Chao, you're quite lucky. You didn't die? Xiao Chen said faintly and sarcastically. Xiao Chen, did you do it on purpose? You're trying to murder me. Li Shanning clearly knew that it was caused by Xiao Chen's brakes, but at this moment, he could only pretend that he didn't know. The car's brakes failed. This car belongs to Chao Yuliang. If there's anything, you should look for him. I'm lucky that I didn't die. Besides, isn't he fine? Who can he blame if his skills aren't good? I can drive better than him without the brakes, said Xiao Chen. Lin Chao waved his hand and said, forget it. This round was also my mistake. In the next 3 rounds, I'm going crazy. Xiao Chen, you won't have a chance. Oh, okay. I'm waiting for you to go crazy. Xiao Chen nodded and said, what are we competing in the 3rd round? The 3rd round, our venue is the bumper car field. We'll collide with each other and see who can push the other out of the circle. The one in the circle wins. Lin Chao said, how is it? The rules are simple, right? Okay, then let's start. Let's end it earlier. I still have to take the goddess to rent a room. A small shed. You don't have any objections, right? Xiao Chen looked at Qin Jinpeng. Ha. Bro Xiao Chen, you must be joking. You can't bully a brother's wife. Qin Jinpeng's face was a little unnatural. Isn't it popular to bully a brother's wife? Said Xiao Chen. Qin Jinpeng clenched his teeth. Of course, that depends on Jingxian. If Jingxian agrees, then I can't say anything. Oh, okay. It seems that I have to work hard. The goddess doesn't really agree now, but I think she will agree in the future, said Xiao Chen. Shen Jingxian wanted to kick Xiao Chen. What do you mean by she will agree in the future? Even if she agrees, you can't say it in front of Qin Jinpeng. Huh, that's true. Let's work hard together. Qin Jinpeng laughed. Let's race first. Oh, okay, but my car's brakes are broken. I don't have a car anymore. Can you give me another one? Asked Xiao Chen. We don't need our own car for the 3rd race. I have prepared 2 special bumper cars. It's too dangerous for our normal cars to collide with each other. This time, you can choose one of the 2 cars first. If there are any problems, it won't be my problem anymore, said Qin Jinpeng as he pointed to the bumper cars that were prepared not far away. Okay, I didn't blame you this time, right? It's fine even if the brakes don't work. Anyway, it's Lin Chao's bad luck, said Xiao Chen indifferently. After confirming the rules, Xiao Chen and the others came to the bumper car racetrack. This bumper car racetrack was similar to the previous ones. It was only half built, and the venue wasn't surrounded. There were only a few broken wooden boards around, and it said that construction workers shouldn't come close. There weren't any bumper cars inside, only 2 bumper cars that Lin Chao transported in advance. To be honest, the 3rd race looked simple, but it was also the hardest to determine the winner. Colliding with each other, how long would it take to knock the opponent out? Moreover, the bumper cars were the same, and their performance was similar. One person was running in front, and the other was chasing behind. How long would it take for them to bump into each other? It wasn't just a test of skills, it was also a test of judgment, and most importantly, luck. However, what puzzled Xiao Chen was that although the bumper cars were troublesome, they weren't dangerous. In this race, how would Lin Chao and Li Shanyin get rid of him? Or, was this a race where they were preparing to turn defeat into victory? Was there any hidden danger? In any case, Xiao Chen had already brought Shen Jingxian into the bumper cars. This made Shen Jinpeng's expression turn ugly. After all, there was a partition in the middle of the front seats of a real car. Even if two people sat in the same row, they couldn't touch each other. However, the bumper cars were different. There was only one row of seats in the car. If two people sat in it, they would actually be next to each other. In this way, didn't it mean that Xiao Chen might take advantage of Shen Jingxian? Especially when the cars collided with each other, Shen Jingxian would inevitably stick to Xiao Chen. This made Shen Jinpeng depressed. At this time, he even prayed that Shen Jingxian and Xiao Chen would die together in this race, so that he wouldn't have to worry about it. When Shen Jingxian sat in the car, she obviously noticed this as well. Her pretty face couldn't help but blush. She glared at Xiao Chen with her beautiful eyes. You always want to take advantage of me. Every time. This car was arranged by Shen Jinpeng, right? What does it have to do with me? Xiao Chen shrugged his shoulders and looked at Shen Jingxian innocently. Your fiancé likes to be cuckolded. I can't do anything about it. Nonsense. He didn't expect that you would take me to the car. Shen Jingxian snorted. Forget it. Anyway, you have taken advantage of me a lot. I'll just bear with it. Chapter 272. You are really used to being taken advantage of by me. Xiao Chen smiled and said, don't wait until I get used to it and often find you to take advantage of me. Don't you dare. Shen Jingxian said, after the game, you are not allowed to do this to me. Between us. What is going on? You know better than me. You are also a rational person, aren't you? I won't kill people if I am rational. Xiao Chen smiled. I. Shen Jingxian wanted to say that she couldn't be with him, but she was afraid that Xiao Chen would affect the mood of racing, so she had to say, don't think too much. I am Shen Jinpeng's fiancé. Hee, okay. Xiao Chen smiled. In fact, he also knew that Shen Jingxian was in a difficult position, so he did not push too hard. Hee, okay. Xiao Chen smiled. In fact, he also knew that Shen Jingxian was in a difficult position, so he did not push too hard. I especially like to take other people's fiancés, such as Tang Tang. Humph. How can you be so fickle? Shen Jingxian glared at Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen's words also made her a little dumbfounded. Other boys in front of her, they could not wait to swear that she was his one and only, right? Xiao Chen, on the other hand, talked about Tang Tang in front of her. Was he going to have 3 or 4 wives? Shen Jingxian was born in an ancient martial arts family. She did not care much about these things, but she was educated in modern times, so she was still a little unhappy. She also heard about Tang Tang. Tang Tang used to be with Xiao Chen every day. Later, Tang Tang returned to her former beautiful appearance, and Yu Xiaochuan wanted to take her back. But then again, no one would be happy about it. In fact, she was still on Xiao Chen's side in her heart. She did not want Yu Xiaochuan to take Tang Tang back, but, with Tang Tang, what about herself? Well, it has nothing to do with me. I'm Shen Jinpeng's fiancé. I'm just thinking about Qing Menjing. That must be it. Xiao Chen didn't expect that his casual words would cause Shen Jingshuan's imagination to run wild, because the competition was about to begin. The bumper cars weren't convertible, so the people outside couldn't hear what Xiao Chen and Shen Jingxian were saying. It had to be said that Li Shanyin was still very powerful. Even Xiao Chen suspected that this kid was a hidden warrior like Chao Yuliang. Otherwise, how could he be so powerful? He waved the small flag in his hand and said to Xiao Chen and Lin Chao, get ready. Everyone in position. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin. Lin Chao started the bumper car and crashed into Xiao Chen. He's coming. Shen Jingxian was startled and said to Xiao Chen. Oh, he can't. Xiao Chen suddenly started the bumper car and did an incredible backward drift. The bumper car's control was obviously weaker than a sports car, even worse than the most common car. Although the bumper cart that Lin Chao had gotten him was a bit better than the bumper cart from a regular amusement park, it wasn't by much. After all, it was an entertainment device, not a race car. Even so, with Xiao Chen's super strong senses as a cultivator, he was able to quickly familiarize himself with the control of the bumper cart. He was able to maximize the performance of the bumper cart. What the F***ck? Lin Chao was stunned. He didn't expect Xiao Chen to drift backward. What kind of driving skill was that? Logically speaking, Xiao Chen shouldn't have touched this kind of bumper car before. There were many bumper car manufacturers, and this bumper car was bought by Li Shaning from overseas. There was basically no such bumper car in the country. Moreover, it was a right-hand steering car. Lin Chao thought that Xiao Chen would drive it clumsily. Even if he could get used to it, it would take some time. Who would have thought that Xiao Chen could drift as soon as he got on the car? Could it be that he had played with this kind of car before? But it was possible. This kind of young master from an aristocratic family might have traveled abroad before. This kind of car was very common in large amusement parks abroad. What the F***ck, he went for wool and came home shorn. The car that was shipped over from abroad after so much effort wasn't of much use. Lin Chao had been practicing and adapting to this car for a long time, but he still couldn't master the forward drift, let alone the backward drift. Shen Jingxian didn't play with cars, but she knew how to drive. She had also seen some racing movies and competitions. At this time, when she saw that Xiao Chen could drift backward with the bumper car, her beautiful eyes couldn't help but flash with surprise. In the past, she had never heard that Xiao Chen knew how to race. In the past few years, Shen Jingxuan's impression of Xiao Chen was that he was ignorant, incompetent, and a lecherous playboy. But now, it seemed that he was indeed lecherous. But how was he ignorant and incompetent? If he was ignorant and incompetent, then there was no one else in the aristocratic family. Even if he was born in the Shen family, with the talent and strength that Xiao Chen displayed now, he probably wouldn't even need to compete to be the heir of the family. Although the heir of a family depended on overall strength, such as a marriage alliance, when one's strength exceeded others by too much, these external factors became fleeting. It was easier for an outstanding family leader to lead a family to the peak, which was much more reliable than a marriage alliance. What if Xiao Chen could be roped into the Shen family? As soon as this thought came to mind, Shen Jingxian couldn't help but shake her head. No matter how outstanding Xiao Chen was, he could only be the son-in-law of the Shen family at most. It was impossible for him to become the heir of the Shen family. In this way, his role to the Shen family was actually limited, especially since Xiao Chen represented one person, not a family. Even if he was an outstanding talent, without the support of a family, it was useless. Among the children of aristocratic families, there were many young martial arts geniuses. These people were outstanding and famous at a young age, but could you say that there were no independent cultivators comparable to them? In fact, it was not the case. It was just that independent cultivators without the support of a family, their individual strength was ultimately limited. No matter how outstanding a person was, without a corresponding platform, he wouldn't be able to display his talent. Thinking of this, Shen Jingxian felt a little sorry for Xiao Chen. If he wasn't born in the Xiao family that was on the decline, perhaps Xiao Chen would become an outstanding talent of his generation. However, it was also possible now, but from nothing to something, it would take a long time. Her brother couldn't wait, and the Shen family couldn't wait either. Shen Jingxian was very conflicted. She didn't want to be with Chen Jinpeng anymore. Of course, although Xiao Chen dodged a few times, most of the time, he still met Lin Chao head-on. This was because dodging alone couldn't push the opponent out of the circle, and that wouldn't be considered a victory. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a winner even if he dodged for a day, and the competition would continue endlessly. Fortunately, the bumper cars were professional. Even if they collided, there wouldn't be any damage. However, what made Xiao Chen a little confused was that Lin Chao purposely knocked Xiao Chen in one direction. As for the other directions, Lin Chao didn't care. For example, there was a time when it seemed like a good opportunity. Xiao Chen's car was at the edge of the circle, and as long as Lin Chao knocked over, he might knock Xiao Chen's car out. Of course, this was only on the surface. Xiao Chen could deal with it, but Lin Chao didn't know. Lin Chao actually didn't grasp such a good opportunity and let it go. This made Xiao Chen very puzzled. What was this person trying to do? However, as Lin Chao's intentions became more and more obvious, Xiao Chen also began to have doubts. Could it be that there was a problem with the direction Lin Chao wanted to hit? Thinking about it, it was really possible. After confirming that there was a problem, Xiao Chen released his divine sense and began to investigate the situation there. In the end, he found the problem with a little investigation. It turned out that in that direction, there was a deep pit. He didn't know what it was used to build, but it should be an underground amusement facility. However, after it was dug, it was covered with something, so it couldn't be seen from the outside. The pit was very deep, and there were some sharp angle irons in it. If someone fell in and pierced through the car, there was basically no chance of survival for the people in the car. Of course, even without these angle irons, falling from this height wouldn't be any better. At this moment, Xiao Chen finally understood. No wonder Lin Chao would create such a simple competition. It turned out that he had dug a pit and was waiting here. After confirming this point, Xiao Chen pondered for a moment and had an idea. What is he trying to do? Why does he keep knocking us in this direction? Shen Jingxian also found the problem. She looked at Lin Chao with a conspiratorial heart, so she had to be suspicious of everything Lin Chao did. In the end, she really found the problem. This made Xiao Chen couldn't help but admire Shen Jingxuan's sharp judgment. He nodded and said, "There is a big pit over there. There are some upright angle irons and steel bars in the big pit. If we fall in, we will become a sieve." "Ah. How did you know?" Shen Jingxian was stunned. "I guessed," said Xiao Chen. "I don't believe it." Shen Jingxian snorted. "You didn't even tell me. I don't want to be with you anymore." Xiao Chen was slightly stunned. He didn't expect Shen Jingxian to say such a sentence. Is she treating me as one of them? However, Xiao Chen shook his head and told the truth. "I sensed it. My perception is stronger than others." "Ah." Shen Jingxian was stunned. "Perception? I'll let you see what it means to not seek death." Xiao Chen knew Lin Chao's purpose and had a plan. He took the initiative to drive the car in that direction. Lin Chao saw Xiao Chen go over, and he was overjoyed. He quickly started the car and rushed over. However, Xiao Chen stopped the car and seemed to be waiting for Lin Chao to come over. Previously, Xiao Chen was in such a situation several times, so Lin Chao wasn't surprised. He started the car and quickly crashed in the direction of Xiao Chen. Lin Chao's driving skills weren't bad. Moreover, he had a key trump card that Xiao Chen didn't know, and that was the jet-type acceleration. This was the hidden function of this bumper car. Only Lin Chao knew how to use it. It needed to be activated with a wireless device. The car's original control panel didn't have this function button. Therefore, even if Xiao Chen stopped there, as long as he accelerated, then Xiao Chen wouldn't be able to avoid it at all. This was because he needed time to start the car and drive it. Chapter 273. The bumper car wasn't like an ordinary car. When the bumper car was just started, it couldn't accelerate at all. Hence, in Lin Chao's opinion, as long as he controlled the angle and rushed over, Xiao Chen would definitely die. What is he doing? "Xiao Chen, why aren't you leaving? We're going to be hit by him." Shen Jingxian looked at Lin Chao, who was rushing over, in horror. "Oh, there's no hurry. A cold smile flashed across Xiao Chen's face. Lin Chao started the jet system. In his opinion, Xiao Chen had nowhere to run. At that moment, Xiao Chen also started the bumper car's jet system. Xiao Chen's car shot forward with a whoosh. This jet system was modified in both cars. The purpose was to prevent Xiao Chen from choosing between the two cars. If the other car didn't have it, then Lin Chao wouldn't be able to use it. Moreover, this system could only be controlled by the corresponding wireless button. Normally, it couldn't be activated from the control panel. Hence, Lin Chao wasn't worried that Xiao Chen would find out. However, this time, Xiao Chen had learned his lesson from the previous brake problem. Once he got in the car, he used his yuan qi to check the bumper car. In the end, he discovered an additional jet system that couldn't be controlled. Of course, others couldn't activate it, but it didn't mean that Xiao Chen couldn't. Xiao Chen injected his yuan qi directly into it, and the device would be activated. Hence, when Lin Chao hit him, Xiao Chen's car shot forward with a whoosh. Lin Chao didn't even hit him. As for Lin Chao, he was shocked. The jet system had been activated. Even if he stepped on the brake, it would be too late. Previously, he had made precise rehearsals and calculations. After his car crashed into Xiao Chen's car, it would stop for a moment due to the resistance. This would cancel out the thrust of the jet. With the assistance of the brakes, his car would be able to stop steadily at the edge of the circle. Although the jet system only sprayed once, the speed had already increased. The car was still rushing forward due to inertia. Unless it hit something, otherwise, as a result, Lin Chao was met with tragedy. Even if he wanted to turn the steering wheel, it was too late. This was because Xiao Chen had left the moment he was about to crash into him. Lin Chao was already close to the edge of the circle at that moment. Then, he charged straight into the huge pit outside the circle. The pit was not small. Even if he changed the direction of the car at the last minute, he would not be able to avoid the pit. Hence, with a few poochie sounds, Lin Chao and his bumper cars became porcupines. Even in death, he couldn't understand why the jet system of Xiao Chen's bumper cars had been activated. This didn't make sense, but he couldn't ask this question. Li Shannying's expression was very ugly. This jet system was made by him, and only he and Lin Chao knew about it. How did Xiao Chen know about it? This was something that even Chao Yuliang and Chen Jinpeng didn't know about. Previously, Li Shannying was afraid that they would leak the secret, so he didn't mention these things in detail. But now, what puzzled Li Shannying the most was that even if Xiao Chen found out about the jet system, he wouldn't know how to use it. Shen Jingxian took a deep breath. Lin Chao was really dead. The poochie sound was accompanied by a scream. It was as if a person had been pierced by a bayonet. It made her heart tremble. It was hard for her to imagine that a life had been lost just like that. Looking at the indifferent expression of Xiao Chen beside her, Shen Jingxian was a little confused. In fact, she also knew that the world of martial artists was different from that of ordinary people. It was just that cruel. This was a level that ordinary people might not be able to reach in their lifetime. But once you entered this level, you would become helpless. If Xiao Chen didn't get rid of them, they would want to get rid of Xiao Chen. Another one died. Shen Jingxian sighed. If you can avoid killing people, it's better not to kill people. You will be exposed sooner or later. Let's talk about it, when I am exposed. Xiao Chen wanted to say that he would have the strength to face it calmly. But suddenly, Xiao Chen remembered that he hadn't broken through and leveled up for a long time. He didn't know when he could break through. Shen Jingxian didn't say anything. She knew that she couldn't stop Xiao Chen. She said quietly, "Let's get out of the car." Xiao Chen and Shen Jingxian got out of the car. Li Shanning walked over with Chao Yuliang and Chen Jinpeng with a gloomy face. Li Shanning glanced at Lin Chao, who was in the big pit, and knew that he wouldn't survive. He was secretly annoyed, but he knew that it had nothing to do with Lin Chao. The mistake this time was entirely because the jet system in Xiao Chen's car had suddenly started. Oh, my cousin-in-law is really a transformer. His car can even jet, just like Megatron. Jean Bebe ran over while shouting. Megatron is a bad guy, Ching Menjing said. Bebe likes bad guys. Jean Bebe said. I don't like bad guys, Ching Menjing said. Alright then. That's Optimus Prime, Jean Bebe agreed. Boss Xiao Qin, how come your car can jet? Qin Jinpeng asked tentatively. He was also a little puzzled. During the competition just now, Li Shaning had explained that there was only one remote control, which was in Lin Chao's hands. It was a remote control that could control 2 cars, and there were 2 buttons on it. Could it be that Lin Chao pressed the wrong button before he died? However, there was no way to prove it. Lin Chao was dead. Who knew whether he pressed the button or not? I don't know either. I saw Lin Chao's car hit me. I was flirting with Jingxian. I was so scared that I couldn't react in time. In the end, my car suddenly dashed out. I don't know what happened. Xiao Qin said. Then I saw Lin Chao drive out by himself. Qin Jinpeng was a little speechless. Although he didn't believe Xiao Qin at all when he said that he was flirting with Shen Jingxian, he also felt disgusted as if he had eaten a fly when Shen Jingxian didn't deny it. In fact, he used to be Xiao Qin's underling. Whether Xiao Qin could catch up with Shen Jingxian or not, he was very clear. Shen Jingxian was such a goddess. It was impossible for her to fall for Xiao Qin. However, Qin Jinpeng still felt uncomfortable. I won, right? Since Lin Chao is dead, quickly give me the ancient jade. I'm going back. Xiao Qin said. Li Shaning hesitated. He also knew that he couldn't fall out with Xiao Qin at this moment. On the surface, Chao Yuliang and Qin Jinpeng were still on Xiao Qin's side. If he went back on his word and Xiao Qin ordered them to snatch it, they couldn't not do it. If they didn't do it, their identity would be exposed. It would be difficult to assassinate Xiao Qin next time. Forget it, I'll just take it as it's in his hands. I'll get it back when the time comes. Alright, as Lin Chao's friend, I'll make the decision for him. If you're willing to bet, you must be willing to lose. This is also the professional ethics of an excellent racer. As Li Shaning spoke, he placed the box containing the ancient jade in front of Xiao Qin. Xiao Qin directly took out the 2 pieces of jade with spiritual energy. I'll take these 2. You can take the rest back. Li Shaning suddenly felt a little heartache. The remaining 3 pieces of ancient jade were not ancient jade at all. It was needless to say that 2 of them were fakes. As for the remaining piece, although it was real jade, it wasn't ancient jade. It was a piece of jade that was mined in the modern era. Although its value wasn't low, it didn't have much collection value. It couldn't be compared to the 2 pieces that Xiao Qin took away. Then I'll be going back. Young Master Xiao, your driving skills are indeed impressive. I reckon that Lin Chao has died wholeheartedly. It's not unjust for him to die under the opponent's car. Li Shaning said gloomily. He had suffered a double loss in today's races. Not only had he blinded one of his eyes, but even Lin Chao had died. But then again, it had nothing to do with Xiao Qin at all. If these were done by Xiao Qin, he could use this as a pretext to make a fuss and take action. At that time, even if he took action within the boundaries of the Songning Martial Artist Guild, there would still be a reason. Otherwise, even Chang Long, who had a deep relationship with the Martial Artist Guild's headquarters, wouldn't dare to break the rules at this moment. After all, the Martial Artist Guild wasn't a monopoly. There was still the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, which was in charge of supervision. And these tragedies were all accidents. His eye was blinded because he insisted on looking at the tire, and it wasn't Xiao Qin who punctured the tire. Lin Chao rushed into the pit himself, and Xiao Qin didn't hit him. This had nothing to do with Xiao Qin at all. Oh, take care. If Lin Chao's friends, relatives, or fellow apprentices aren't convinced and want to challenge me, just get them to prepare the ancient jade. Xiao Qin felt that Li Shaning was a rich man, and he definitely had some ancient jade in his house. He was a little reluctant to let him leave just like that. He was an enemy, so he had to let him display his greatest value before he died. He had to let him die meaningfully, and die a worthy death. Otherwise, wouldn't he have died in vain? Shen Jingxian held back her laughter. This was the rhythm of Shao Chen continuing to trick people. However, even if Li Shannying knew, he would probably fall for it. Alright, I'll pass on the message when I get back. Li Shannying heaved a sigh of relief. If Shao Chen continued to accept challenges, then there wouldn't be a problem. He was just afraid that Shao Chen would hide. If that happened, he would really be helpless. Young Master Chow, you're the host. Can you send me off? Alright, then Jinpeng and I will send you off. Chow Yuliang nodded. Just in time, Jingxian, come to my house to play. Cheng Menjing invited. Ah. Okay. Shen Jingxuan's heart skipped a beat. She didn't know why, when she went to Cheng Menjing's villa, the first thing she thought of wasn't Cheng Menjing, but Shao Chen. Chen Jinpeng also didn't want Shen Jingxian to participate in Li Shanning's matter. He knew that Shen Jingxian and Cheng Menjing had a good relationship. If Cheng Menjing was revealed, it would be over. Moreover, if she knew the truth, she wouldn't dare to get in Shao Chen's car again. Shao Chen would definitely suspect that there was a problem. Fortunately, when he told Shen Jingxian today, he didn't say anything. He only said that Li Shanning was Li Shanpao's younger brother, and that he came to find Shao Chen to help his younger brother vent his anger and teach Shao Chen a lesson. He didn't say that he wanted to kill Shao Chen. In this way, in the eyes of normal people, it was just to let Shao Chen lose the competition. However, Shen Jingxian had already seen that something was wrong before, so she naturally linked it to this. Qin Jinpeng thought that Goddess Shen was not smart. Chapter 274. Jean Beibei's Panamera could not be driven, and Shao Chen did not have a car. Therefore, Shao Chen turned his head and looked at Li Shannying. Hey, you have 2 cars. Give me one. You asked me to come to the race, but you drove my car into pieces. You even pretended that nothing had happened. What's going on? Are you asking me to refuse the next race? Then, Boss Shao Chen. You can drive my car. Qin Jinpeng said quickly. I'm talking to Lin Chao's friend. Little Shed, you are one of us. You don't have to be polite with me. Shao Chen waved his hand and said. Li Shanning was a little annoyed. You came to race and drove your car into pieces. How dare you ask me for a car? You didn't come here for nothing. You won 2 pieces of ancient jade. Why are you complaining? However, he was also afraid that Shao Chen would be unhappy and refuse the challenge in the future. Therefore, he had no choice but to hand the key of his Range Rover to Shao Chen. You can drive my car. Is that okay? Oh, that's more like it. Shao Chen took the car key without hesitation and then said to Qin Jinpeng, you send the Panamera to the 4S shop for repair. Tell them that it belongs to Jean Beibei. Is that okay? No problem. Qin Jinpeng nodded and thought, this is obviously my Panamera. But I don't dare to say it. I have to run the errand for nothing. But isn't this what an underling should do? He had to continue to play the role of an underling. Pay the money by the way. Shao Chen patted Qin Jinpeng's shoulder and said, I'll treat you to a meal next time. Come to my youtiao stall. You can eat as much as you want. Qin Jinpeng found some comfort in the first half of the sentence. He thought that he didn't do it for nothing. It was okay to have a meal. But he almost cried at the end. How many youtiao can you eat? I'll choke to death. Okay. Qin Jinpeng nodded. Thank you. Shao Chen got in the Land Rover. Jean Beibei sat in the passenger seat, while Shen Jingxian and Cheng Menjing sat in the back. The 4 of them drove away from the Ma Liwan construction site. Watching them leave, Li Shanning finally lost his temper. F***ck their ancestors. This kid's luck is pretty good, huh? Xiao Chen does have some dog shit luck. Otherwise, a piece of trash like him wouldn't be able to live until now. Qiao Yuliang nodded. His face was a little ugly because he also thought that Xiao Chen would definitely die this time. There were hidden dangers in every match, but Xiao Chen was able to avoid them. This was really overflowing with luck. If Xiao Chen doesn't die this time, it will be even more difficult to kill him next time. Li Shanning frowned. I didn't expect there to be so many twists and turns to kill a small fry. Young Master Li, do you know my difficulties now? Qiao Yuliang sighed. I've always wanted to kill him, but this guy's luck is off the charts. I can't do anything about it. That's true. Some people are born with good luck. They don't have any tricks up their sleeves. Li Shanning said helplessly, even if it's a race next time, Xiao Chen will definitely be more vigilant. We can't choose the Maliwan construction site again. The remaining 2 plots that we designed previously can't be used. Other racetracks don't have such a terrain environment. We can only create it again. Qin Jinpeng said, anyway, this kid Xiao Chen is greedy for money. When the time comes, we can promise him a lot of benefits. We don't have to worry that he won't be fooled. How can a race not be dangerous? Didn't Li Shanpao and Lin Chao die? The fact that he can continue proves that he is mentally prepared. That's true. Li Shanning nodded and said, okay, then let's stop for a while. I'll think of a way. Okay, young Master Li. Qiao Yuliang wanted Xiao Chen to die as soon as possible. Otherwise, the person behind him would be furious. The 3 of them cleaned up the scene. Lin Chao's body was naturally dealt with by the people that Qiao Yuliang had found. Then, they left the Maliwan construction site. Xiao Chen drove the car in the direction of the villa area. Sister Jingxian, did you flirt with my cousin-in-law in the bumper car just now? Jean Bebe asked. Shen Jingxian was a little overwhelmed by Jean Bebe's sudden question. In the bumper car, the seats were connected. It was inevitable that the 2 of them would have physical contact. But at that time, Shen Jingxian really didn't think too much about it. Although she felt a little shy and her heart was racing, she had had much bolder contact on the island. So, it was not a big deal. Besides, Shen Jingxian didn't reject this kind of feeling at all. It was like a little trick between lovers, which made people want to reject it even if they wanted to. Shen Jingxian didn't know if she had found the feeling of being in love. But she didn't reject this kind of feeling at all. She even looked forward to it. Seeing that Shen Jingxian didn't say anything, Qing Menjing thought that Shen Jingxian was embarrassed. So, she said, all right, Bebe, I don't think that Xiao Chen dares to take advantage of my bestie. I'll deal with him when I get home. Shen Jingxian smiled guiltily. She felt that she couldn't face her bestie anymore. In the past, they could talk about anything. But now, Shen Jingxian had her own secrets. Before, they could talk about their feelings about Xiao Chen, Qin Jinkuan, and Qin Jinpeng freely. But now, when Qing Menjing talked about Xiao Chen, she suddenly didn't dare to continue the conversation. By the way, what do you want to have for dinner? I'll cook for you. Xiao Chen changed the topic. He could see that Shen Jingxian was embarrassed, but he was a little excited. What is the relationship between me and Shen Jingxian? In the past, Xiao Chen might have only been able to have intimate contact with Shen Jingxian in his dreams, and he was afraid that he would have used force. But now, everything had become natural, and Goddess Shen had done it willingly. By the way, Jingxian, Xiao Chen's cooking is very delicious. I'll order him to cook for you later, said Qing Menjing. Isn't that too troublesome? Shen Jingxian said, in fact, we can just find a place to eat. It's his honor. Qing Menjing said, I don't want to eat ordinary people's cooking. Yeah, I'm very happy to serve Mississippi, Xiao Chen said. He felt that the eldest young mistress and Shen Jingxian had completely different personalities. How could the 2 of them become best friends? However, the 2 should have begun to influence each other. It was just that the other personality was hidden by the main personality. After passing by a farmer's shop, Xiaochen got out of the car to buy some meat and vegetables. Then, he brought them back to the villa. I'm not too hungry. Cousin Menjing, why don't we play something first? Jean Bebe suggested. That's fine. What do you think, Jingxian? Qing Menjing asked. After all, Shen Jingxian was a guest. Okay, I'm not very hungry either. Shen Jingxian shook her head. So, they discussed what game to play. Xiaochen went to the kitchen to tidy up the vegetables and meat. They could be used directly later. Then, Xiaochen added some primordial qi to make the vegetables and meat more delicious. In other words, they would be delicious no matter how they were cooked. After everything was done, Xiaochen came out, and the three ladies also came to a conclusion after their discussion. When Jean Bebe saw Xiaochen, she hopped and said, "Cousin-in-law, let's play hide and seek. This villa is big. It's perfect for hide and seek." Oh, okay. Xiaochen was playing with them. So, it didn't matter. He nodded and said, "Now? Who should catch and who should hide?" Two people in a group. Cousin Menjing and I will team up. Jean Bebe said. Oh. Then let Jingxian and Xiaochen hide first. Let's go look for them. Qing Menjing said, I'm going to the bathroom to wash my hair. I got dusty in the construction site just now. I'm a clean person. How can I tolerate the existence of dust? Then Sister Jingxian will hide first. Cousin, you can hide later. Otherwise, if they come to an agreement and create a diversion, it won't be good for us to find them. Jean Bebe said. In fact, she was planning to let Shen Jingxian disturb Yi Xiaoya accidentally. The cold girl locked herself in her room all day long. There was no telling what she was doing, but it was certainly something that could not be disturbed. Therefore, Jean Bebe did not mind adding a little trouble to her. After all, Shen Jingxian was a guest. Yi Xiaoya could only hold it back when she went to the wrong room. There was nothing she could say. If she dared to say anything, Jean Bebe could seize the opportunity to talk to her and make her retreat in defeat. Oh, whatever. Xiaochen, go and test the water temperature for me. Qing Menjing said. Okay. Xiaochen went to the bathroom to test the water temperature and found that it was just right. Then, he asked Qing Menjing to come over. Actually, Xiaochen didn't reject the Missy's orders at all. A tsundere girl had her cute side, and not everyone had the princess syndrome. Moreover, although Qing Menjing looked fierce on the surface like she was a queen, in reality, she had a meticulous and kind side that was easy to overlook. This was the side that Xiaochen was most touched by, and also the side that he had the most favorable impression of the eldest Mississippi. In the past, Xiaochen could only be said to have a kind of possessive desire towards his fiancée, Qing Menjing. If they were to talk about love, it definitely couldn't compare to his love for Shen Jingxian. But right now, Xiaochen realized that it would not be a bad idea if he really married the lady. Shen Jingxian went upstairs to hide. To Jean Bebe's disappointment, she did not seem to disturb Yi Xiaoya. Therefore, Jean Bebe lost the chance to challenge Yi Xiaoya. Xiaochen also went upstairs to hide. After going upstairs, Xiaochen directly pushed open the door of a guest room and walked in. Then, he pushed open a closet next to it and stuck himself inside. Ah! When the closet was opened, Shen Jingxian thought that she had been found. She was just about to come out when someone came in, which gave her a shock. However, when she smelled the familiar man's scent, Shen Jingxian knew who it was. Xiaochen, what are you doing? Shen Jingxian could remember Xiaochen's scent, which surprised even herself. Xiaochen did not answer but squeezed into the closet directly. Chapter 275. There were some winter clothes that the young miss brought from home. She didn't need them for the time being, so she put them in the closet of the guest room. Shen Jingxian was hiding inside before. When Xiaochen squeezed in, the space inside was obviously smaller except for the clothes. The two of them were directly stuck together. You. Shin Jingxuan's face was a little red, but Xiaochen couldn't see it here. Xiaochen only felt that Goddess Shin's heartbeat was a little faster. Could it be that Goddess Shin was really moved? As if to confirm this guess, Xiaochen reached out and gently hugged Shin Jingxian. This made Shin Jingxuan's whole body stiffen. She stood in the closet and didn't dare to move. She glared at Xiaochen with some embarrassment, but she found that the closet door had been closed. It was dark inside, and she couldn't see anything. It's an accident. I didn't know you were here. Xiaochen said in a low voice. Feeling the softness in his arms, Xiaochen almost thought that this was a scene from a dream. To be honest, at the moment when he was kicked out of the Xiao family, Xiaochen thought that he was finished. His future life would definitely be full of bleakness. But now, Xiaochen found that this was simply the beginning of a colorful life. Not only did he gain the friendship of many big shots, but his relationship with Goddess Shin also became ambiguous. Only a ghost would believe it. Shin Jingxian said angrily, "You must have come here on purpose." "How is that possible?" "I have been serving the young miss downstairs to wash her hair," said Xiaochen. "Aren't you very perceptive? You can even feel the big pit. Can't you feel where I am?" Shin Jingxian snorted. Xiaochen laughed twice. Shin Jingxian wasn't stupid. "Xiaochen, I thought about it carefully before. We can't do this. It's really not good." Shin Jingxuan's voice was a little trembling. "You and Qing Menjing are a couple. We are at her house, and we still do this. I can't live with my conscience. It seems that I have done something wrong to her. Me and her. Is it still possible?" Xiaochen sighed and laughed at himself. The Qing family wanted to kill him. How could they let Qing Menjing marry him? "I think it's still possible, as long as the Qing family knows your strength." Shin Jingxian said, "As long as you show your strength to Grandpa Qing, then the Qing family will definitely put the marriage on the agenda again." "What about you?" Xiaochen asked. Even if I don't marry Qin Jinpeng, my family doesn't know how to arrange it. The Shin family and the Qing family are different. The Qing family is limited to Songning City, but the Shin family..." Shin Jingxian didn't continue after she said that. She just sighed softly. "I can't reveal my strength for now. There are too many people who want to kill me, and I don't know where they came from. I haven't investigated my father's matter clearly. If I reveal my strength, everyone will be on guard against me, and the truth will be quickly covered up." Xiaochen shook his head. "It's fine if I don't have the strength, but I do. I want to find out what happened to my father." As Xiaochen spoke, he couldn't help but hug Shin Jingxian even tighter. Shin Jingxuan's entire body was in his arms. Shin Jingxian moaned, and her whole body went limp in Xiaochen's arms. Her breathing was a little rushed. She wanted to push Xiaochen away, but she didn't have any strength at all. This moan made Xiaochen inevitably have a reaction. Originally, with the goddess in his arms, Xiaochen had restrained himself, but now, Xiaochen couldn't restrain himself. Shin Jingxian felt that there seemed to be something hard pressing against her, which made her slightly stunned. She immediately understood what it was, and suddenly became angry. "Xiaochen, do you really think we are good like this? I don't know. I just like you." Xiaochen took a deep breath and said, "Maybe it's a kind of obsession. In the past, I could only look up to you, but now, I can hold you in my arms, so I don't want to give up." "Ah." Shin Jingxian sighed faintly. She closed her eyes and didn't think about the future and the troubles of the family. In fact, at this moment, she also enjoyed it very much. She felt very warm. She wanted time to stop here. She just wanted to be held by Xiaochen until the end of time. It was like a song, when the mountain has no edges, when the river no longer flows, when time stops, when the day and night are not separated, when everything in the world turns into nothingness, I still can't break up with you. I can't break up with you. Your gentleness is the greatest protection in my life. Sometimes, Shen Jingxian also thought about leaving the family, but could she really leave? It was a joke to say that she ran away from home. With the strength of the Shen family, it was very easy to find her. Not to mention her, even if the Tang family, which was one level lower than the Shen family, wanted her to go back, she had to go back. Listening to Xiao Chen's words, Shen Jingxuan's heart softened at this moment. She was a kind person, and she also liked the feeling of being with Xiao Chen. So, she wanted to indulge herself, just for a while. After a while, when they got out of the closet, they would still be the same as before. What happened here, just like the time on the island, became a beautiful memory. Xiao Chen, do you know? Although I didn't make sarcastic remarks to you in the past, to be honest, I never thought too much of you. Shen Jingxian hesitated and said. She thought that since she and Xiao Chen were like this, she should confess her thoughts to Xiao Chen. She couldn't lie to him. Not only you, but also Miss Xiao. She didn't care about me when she saw me before. Xiao Chen smiled calmly. To be honest, Xiao Chen used to think that he was an ignorant and incompetent playboy. This was also an illusion that Xiao Chen deliberately created, and he didn't refute Chao Yuliang's rumors at all. The more stupid he was, the less threatening he was, the safer the Xiao family would be. Otherwise, the Xiao family was the weakest among the four big families, and it would definitely be the stepping stone for other families to rise. Xiao Chen knew that he was useless, so he created the impression that the Xiao family was dying, and when Xiao Feng got old, the Xiao family would be finished. However, he didn't expect that even so, someone still couldn't wait to take action against the Xiao family. His father was missing, and he was also driven out of the Xiao family. This was the rhythm of making the Xiao family have no descendants. It was simply a plan to kill the family, and it couldn't be said that it wasn't sinister. Therefore, when Shen Jingxian didn't see him before she left, Xiao Chen already felt that Shen Jingxian was too kind. Otherwise, with his previous notoriety, who would be willing to have more contact with him? Menjing's heart is actually very good. She always quietly pays attention to you, and we often discuss about you. Sometimes, she seems to be really troubled. If she marries a playboy like you in the future, what will her life be like? She also hopes that you can improve yourself, and hope that you can become the leader of the younger generation that everyone praises, but you let her down again and again. I am worried for you. Shen Jingxian couldn't help but smile when she said this. If Menjing knew your true side, she might have already fallen in love with you, and she wouldn't have let the Qing family break off the engagement. Damn, I didn't do it on purpose. The Xiao family is too dangerous, Xiao Chen said. I know. That's even more difficult. Originally, I thought that Chao Yuliang could hide his strength as a martial artist at the peak of stage 3 inner force for so long, and I didn't expect that you actually. Shen Jingxian shook her head. However, if you were so outstanding from the beginning, maybe I wouldn't have any thoughts about you, because after all, you are Menjing's fiancé, but now. Sigh. Xiao Chen hugged Shen Jingxian tightly. He hesitated for a moment, and then said firmly, don't agree to Qin Jinpeng's request just yet. Try to delay your relationship as much as possible. Wait for the day when I can walk into the Shen family with dignity and treat me as a distinguished guest. Shen Jingxian also began to respond to Xiao Chen, hugging him with both hands. Shen Jingxian couldn't understand why she suddenly wanted to be with Xiao Chen so much. Did falling in love with someone really only happen in a moment? Didn't the children of big families develop feelings after a long time? Shen Jingxian responded inaudibly, I'll try my best. If I can't delay it, I'll kill him. This guy is just a little brother. Not only did he become a traitor, but he also stole the boss's woman and turned to the enemy. I've wanted to kill him for a long time. Xiao Chen said. It's you who stole his fiancée. Shen Jingxian didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I liked you first, and he always knew it. Then, he wanted to find the Shen family for a marriage alliance. Isn't he making things difficult for me? Xiao Chen said. That works too. Shen Jingxian was stunned. I don't know if the Chen family is involved, but the Qin family and I are already at each other's throats. Xiao Qin said, the Chao family, the Qin family, the Lu family, the Qing family, the Sun family, the Yu family. I found out that I have a lot of enemies now. Shen Jingxian was also a little depressed. Why did Xiao Qin have so many enemies? However, with so many strong enemies, he was still alive and well. It was really amazing. What is the Sun family? Sun family? Xiao Qin was stunned and then he reacted. He had just said the Sun family, but he and Shen Jingxian now had a feeling of being connected. He didn't want to hide anything from her. Didn't a few people from the Sun family die? I killed them all. What? Shen Jingxian naturally heard about the Sun family in the city. The way the Sun family died was very inelegant. At that time, she thought that the Sun family had done something wicked. Otherwise, how could they all die like this? But now after listening to Xiao Chen's words, she understood that the Sun family was killed by Xiao Chen. This made Shen Jingxian a little speechless. This Xiao Chen is really restless. However, what shocked her even more was that the Sun family was rising before. The speed of their rise was so fast that his father, Shen Zhenghao, wanted to rope them in. Who would have thought that they were crippled by Xiao Chen alone? Now they had become a declining family, and they had to rely on the Xiao family to survive. Shen Jingxian didn't know what to say. What kind of man did I like? If he said that he killed Qin Jinpeng's family, it was really possible. Chapter 276. By the way, didn't the Sun family seek refuge with the Xiao family? Shen Jingxian was a little confused. Seek refuge with the Xiao family? Xiao Chen was stunned. He didn't know this because he didn't have as many information channels as the children of the aristocratic families. What happened? You don't know? Shen Jingxian told Xiao Chen what she knew. I don't know, but it seems that the Sun family is probably crippled and unable to recover. They sought a declining family like the Xiao family to cooperate with them. Otherwise, who would look up to them? Xiao Chen shook his head and didn't ask more. Anyway, the Sun family didn't know who killed his family members. It was mutually beneficial for him to cooperate with the Xiao family. It was good to let the Xiao family take advantage of them. Well, I think so too. Huh? Why does it sound like you are not very optimistic about the Xiao family? Shen Jingxian was a little confused. Me? Xiao Chen smiled bitterly. To be honest, his feelings for the Xiao family were very special. Until now, his sense of belonging was still very strong. But, the Xiao family didn't accept him and drove him out. He could only stand on the side of the Xiao family and didn't consider himself as the Xiao family anymore. Didn't I get driven out? Not acting? Shen Jingxian was a little confused. What acting? You mean, I'm acting with the Xiao family? Xiao Chen understood what Shen Jingxian meant. Yes. In fact, with your strength, the Xiao family doesn't need to listen to the Qing family at all. Shen Jingxian said. They don't know. Xiao Chen shook his head and was a little confused. Could he go back to the Xiao family? Not for the time being. He would think about it after he found out who was behind the scenes against him. Oh. Shen Jingxian nodded. She didn't understand Xiao Chen's approach, but she didn't ask much. She suddenly thought of something. By the way, what are you going to do, Tang Tang? You and her also said the same thing, right? Just like what you promised me just now. Shen Jingshuan's question suddenly made Xiao Chen silent. After a while, he said, Tang Tang is a very good girl. She helped me when I was in the most difficult time. It can be said that without her, I wouldn't be who I am now. Shen Jingxian was stunned. She didn't understand the meaning, but she didn't ask any more questions. It seemed that Xiao family's position was not lower than her. She was. Then. What are you going to do? I don't know. She and I have never really confessed to each other. And now, we can't do it again. Xiao Chen sighed. Let's wait and see. But I won't let you Xiao Chun go to the hospital. Shen Jingxian didn't say anything more. Xiao Chen was a domineering person. She had already experienced it. Yu Xiaochuan went back on his words. Would Xiao Chen let him go? It was impossible to think about it. However, Xiao Chen was only one person. It was very difficult for him to suppress the Yu family, let alone walk into the Shen family. This guy had always liked her, but he fell in love with Tang Tang halfway. Shen Jingxian was a little jealous. She had never thought that there would be a day where she could be jealous. The marriage between the children of big families was just like that. It was ridiculous to expect the husband to be faithful to his wife. The ancient martial arts families kept the ancient customs. It was normal to have 3 wives and 4 concubines. However, that was the case when Shen Jingxian didn't care about Qin Jinpeng. Once she cared about him, everyone would be jealous. However, jealousy was one thing, and she didn't show it. Shen Jingxian had the impulse to ask Xiao Chen, "Do you like me or Tang Tang more?" But she held back. While she was thinking, suddenly, the sound of the door being opened came from outside. Shen Jingxuan's whole body tightened. Was someone coming? Was it Qing Menjing and Jean Bebe? She wanted to push Xiao Chen away, but the space in the closet was small. Besides, her whole body was soft, and she couldn't move at all. However, Xiao Chen patted her back gently, telling her not to worry. But he patted Shen Jingxuan's bra strap, which made her feel a little weird. She had never thought that a boy would touch this kind of thing. But when the moment came, everything seemed to be reasonable. Shen Jingxian didn't resist. She just felt a little nervous. But the next moment, she became even more nervous. Because she heard a click, the closet door was opened, and she saw Jean Bebe standing at the door of the closet. "I found you. Come out." Jean Bebe shouted. Shen Jingxian was stunned. She was still hugging Xiao Chen at this moment. How could Jean Bebe see them? She felt that she had been caught in the act. She was scared to death. At this moment, she didn't know how to face Qing Menjing in the future. If she faced Xiao Chen, Shen Jingxian wanted to explain, but she found, to her surprise, that her mouth was blocked. It was Xiao Chen's mouth. Shen Jingxian widened her eyes and looked at Xiao Chen in disbelief. Kissing in front of Jean Bebe? Although they had kissed in the sea before, and Shen Jingxian didn't particularly reject it, wasn't it courting death to do it in front of Jean Bebe? Shen Jingxian was very angry. If you are courting death, don't drag me into it. Are you trying to ruin the relationship between me and Qing Menjing? What are you doing? Isn't it better to do it secretly? Do you have to make it public? Besides, don't you want to hide your strength? Shen Jingxian wanted to push Xiao Chen away, but she found that she couldn't move him at all. Huh? There's nothing here? Jean Bebe said confusedly. Then, she closed the door of the closet. After a while, she walked out of the room. Woo! Shen Jingxian pushed Xiao Chen again, and Xiao Chen let go of her this time. It was not good to push one's luck. Xiao Chen also understood that. What are you doing? How do you want me to die? Shen Jingxian was so angry that her chest was heaving. However, it was quite comfortable to press against Xiao Chen's body. She didn't see it, did she? Xiao Chen said with an indifferent smile. She didn't see it? She pretended not to see it to save face for us. Otherwise, do you really think she is blind? Shen Jingxian said angrily. She really didn't see it. Xiao Chen said, I set up an illusion similar to a camouflage. So, what Bebe saw was the clothes, not us. Ah. Shen Jingxian looked at Xiao Chen in disbelief. Really? Do you remember that the license of Qin Jinpeng's BMW X5 is written with Jean Bebe's name? Xiao Chen asked. That was also a camouflage you used? Shen Jingxian was stunned and believed him a little. Yes. And that Li Shanpao, why did he die? Because what he saw was an illusion, so he died. Xiao Chen nodded. You scared me to death. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Shen Jingxian immediately heaved a sigh of relief. She lay on Xiao Chen's body weakly and rested her chin on Xiao Chen's shoulder. She said weakly, at that moment, I thought I was finished. Everything was finished. Menjing would definitely not be with me anymore, hee hee. Xiao Chen patted Shen Jingxian. I'm not a fool. I've thought about this long ago. Otherwise, I wouldn't have dared to come in to look for you. But what's up with this illusion? It doesn't seem to be the ability of a warrior. Xiao Chen, are you a warrior or not? Shen Jingxian suddenly had some doubts. Yes and no. Actually, in layman's terms, you can regard me as a superpower user or a demonic cultivator because I have the characteristics of a warrior, a demonic cultivator, and a superpower user, Xiao Chen said. Gosh, I found a man casually, and he's still a full-time master? Shen Jingxian was a little surprised. If it was really like what Xiao Chen said, then she was really full of confidence in Xiao Chen's future. Because the demonic cultivator and the martial cultivator each had their strengths. Xiao Chen could merge them together, which made up for their respective shortcomings. Especially the legendary superpower user, it made Shen Jingxian feel that he was not simple. You admit that I am your man? Xiao Chen asked with a smile. It depends on your performance. Shen Jingxian lowered her head. Then, let's kiss again. Xiao Chen said. No, let's go out quickly. What if Menjing comes later? Shen Jingxian said as she pushed the closet door and went out. Xiao Chen had no choice but to follow her out. However, as soon as they went out and closed the closet door, they heard footsteps coming from outside again. Shen Jingxian hurried to tidy up the corner of her clothes to make herself look normal, because there was no place to hide now. She didn't know whether Xiao Chen could still use the illusion camouflage under such strong light. Cousin Menjing, I've searched the guest room. There's no one there. Jean Beibei's voice came from the door. Then where are they hiding? We didn't find them after looking around. You must have not searched carefully enough. Let me search again. Cheng Menjing said as she pushed the door open. How is it possible? Beibei searched carefully. Jean Beibei mumbled as she followed Cheng Menjing. Huh? Cousin-in-law, Sister Jingxian, why are you here? Humph. What do you think? I told you that you didn't search carefully enough. The two of them are standing right in the room, and they didn't even hide. How can you say that you didn't find them? Cheng Menjing glared at Jean Beibei. Hey, are you biased towards Xiao Chen and deliberately going easy on them? That's not right. There was no one here before. Beibei even checked the closet. Jean Beibei, however, was confused. Cousin-in-law, have you been here all the time? Oh, no. She and I went to Yi Xiaoya's room, but Yi Xiaoya drove us out after staying there for a while. So, we hid in a random guest room, Xiao Chen said. Oh, I see. No wonder. Jean Beibei was enlightened. Then, she said to Cheng Menjing, Cousin Menjing, look, it's not that I didn't search carefully enough. They came later. All right. You even have a transfer function. It's really hard for us to find them. Cheng Menjing complained. Now, it's Beibei and my turn to hide. Why don't you go downstairs and wait for us? Okay. Xiao Chen said and walked out of the room first. Shen Jingxian followed him and secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Chapter 277. The two of them went downstairs. Shen Jingxian followed them and whispered, Who is Yi Xiaoya? She's a tenant here. Didn't Menjing tell you? Xiao Chen said as they walked. No. Shen Jingxian shook her head. Is she a beauty? Shen Jingxian was stunned when she asked this question. Why did she ask this? It seemed that she was spying on Xiao Chen. Yes, but she's cold. She doesn't get along with eldest miss, but she suffered a few losses in Jean Bebe's hands, Xiao Chen explained. I guess you'll see her in a while. I see. Shen Jingxian just asked casually. She didn't pay much attention to it. The two of them went downstairs and waited in the living room. Before long, footsteps came from the stairs again. Xiao Chen looked up and found it was Yi Xiaoya. So he said to Shen Jingxian, "It's her." Oh. Shen Jingxian glanced at Yi Xiaoya and found Yi Xiaoya was also looking at her. Xiao Chen, is she your girlfriend? Yi Xiaoya glanced at Shen Jingxian and asked. Oh, eldest Mrs. Good Friend. She's here as a guest, Xiao Chen said. Yi Xiaoya nodded and ignored Shen Jingxian. She came to the kitchen and saw so many fresh ingredients. So she asked, Xiao Chen, can you give me some of these ingredients? Sure. Take whatever you want. Xiao Chen didn't care. Anyway, he bought a lot, and they couldn't finish it all. If Yi Xiaoya wanted it, he could give it to her. Yi Xiaoya took a small portion and cooked some noodles for herself. Then, she stir-fried a side dish and sat in the dining room, wolfing down the food. Xiao Chen. Why does she look like a reincarnated hungry ghost? Shen Jingxian was stunned. I don't know. Maybe she ate too much instant noodles, Xiao Chen said. Xiao Chen, where did you buy these ingredients? Yi Xiaoya was not a reincarnated hungry ghost, but the ingredients were so delicious that she wanted to have a second bite. So she wolfed down the food. Oh. Xiao Chen was slightly stunned, and then he smiled bitterly. He finally understood the reason why Yi Xiaoya wolfed down the food. It turned out to be because of his ingredients. When Xiao Chen washed the vegetables, he injected his primordial energy into them. Later, Yi Xiaoya asked him for it, so he forgot about it. As a result, Yi Xiaoya felt that it was extremely delicious. It's at the farm shop at the entrance of the villa. Really? Yi Xiaoya was a little puzzled. Could it be that it's all green farming? The taste is really good. Maybe. Xiao Chen didn't dare to say anything more. Yi Xiaoya finished eating quickly. She was a little unsatisfied, but it wasn't good to eat more. She cleaned up the dishes and went upstairs. It really feels cold. Shen Jingxian said, Xiao Chen, can we go find someone? Let's go. Xiao Chen stood up and went upstairs slowly. You know where they are hiding, right? Shen Jingxian suddenly asked. Oh, yes. Xiao Chen nodded. One is hidden on the rooftop of the villa, and the other is hanging on the air conditioner outside the villa's protective window. Let's not look there. Let's just shout in the corridor first. We will look for them later. Pfft. Shen Jingxian couldn't help but cover her mouth and laugh. It's really boring to play hide-and-seek with you. If I knew in advance, I wouldn't want to look for them. Who asked you to ask me? Xiao Chen shrugged innocently. You're still in the right. Shen Jingxian kicked Xiao Chen from behind, but it was no different from tickling him. It made Xiao Chen's mind shake. What should we do? Xiao Chen said. I don't care. I'm bored. You can play with me later. It's more interesting. Shen Jingxian actually acted coquettishly. Okay, then we will play whatever you want to play. Cupboard passion is fine too, said Xiao Chen. Go to hell. Shen Jingxian kicked Xiao Chen again, but this time, she was caught by Xiao Chen's body. Yeah. Shen Jingxian exclaimed, and the bottom of her skirt was exposed. What are you doing? Put it down. Someone saw it. Hee hee. Xiao Chen didn't go too far. He also knew that some things should be done in moderation. Otherwise, it would be counterproductive. The two went upstairs together, and then pretended to shout in the villa for a long time, but they didn't see anyone. Not here? Xiao Chen said loudly. Not here either. Shen Jingxian tried hard to hold back her laughter and cooperated with Xiao Chen. Really? Where are they hiding? Xiao Chen said. Have you looked everywhere? Yeah. Where else is this villa? Shen Jingxian asked. There's a balcony on the top of the roof. They won't go there, will they? Xiao Chen said after thinking for a while. Then let's go and have a look. Shen Jingxian said. Okay. Xiao Chen nodded and went upstairs to the balcony with Shen Jingxian. In the room, Jean Bebe, who was standing outside the air conditioner with the protective window open, grinned. The position she chose was the best. Xiao Chen and Shen Jingxian couldn't find them. If they couldn't find them later, she would win. Shen Jingxian and Xiao Chen's voices were very loud, so Jean Bebe could naturally hear them. The two pushed open the door of the balcony and saw Qing Menjing basking in the sun and enjoying the scenery. In fact, the balcony was a large platform with no shelter. Qing Menjing had nowhere to hide. Since she was found, she simply stood up and said, Jingxian, Xiao Chen, you're here. You're really good at hiding. We searched for you several times but didn't find you. Shen Jingxian ran over, hugged Qing Menjing, and lay on Qing Menjing. My legs are sore. Then sit down and have a rest. Qing Menjing pulled Shen Jingxian to sit down and said, Bebe, have you found her? No, she's even harder to find than you, Shen Jingxian said. Alright, then let's go and find her together. According to the rules of the game, the person who was found had to join the search. Let's go. Bebe will win if we don't find her for half an hour. Shen Jingxian nodded. Therefore, the three of them walked out of the balcony and went downstairs. The third floor was an attic apart from the balcony. There was nothing else leading to the balcony. It was impossible for anyone to be hiding here. The search was still focused on the second floor. Qing Menjing said, Is Bebe going to another room like you? Did she sneak into the room that you searched? That's not possible. When I entered the room, Xiao Chen was in the corridor. If Bebe came out, she would see him immediately, Shen Jingxian said. That's really strange. Let's search in every room carefully. Have you searched behind the curtains? Qing Menjing asked. The curtains are attached to the wall, and no one can stand behind them. She should be able to see him immediately, right? Xiao Chen said. Never mind. Let's search again carefully. Bebe might be able to leap onto roofs and vault over walls, Qing Menjing said. By the way, did you go to the washroom? Yes, both in the rooms and in the public areas. There's no one there, Shen Jingxian said. The three of them began to search like a carpet again. This time, they opened all the curtains and looked carefully. They even checked the clothes in the closet. Finally, they found Jean Bebe behind the curtains of one of the guest rooms. She was standing by the window, holding the iron bars of the anti-theft window and stepping on the air conditioner. It seemed that she had squeezed through the gap of the anti-theft window. This behavior made Qing Menjing a little speechless. Bebe, do you know that it's very dangerous for you to do this? This is the second floor. What if you fall? He. I was thinking of hiding in a more inconspicuous place, wasn't I? Jean Bebe grinned. It's all right. Bebe is very light. I won't fall. Then come back now. Shen Jingxian had not seen it before. Now that she saw it, she was quite alarmed. It was almost like a high-altitude worker. However, she did not have any protection at all. If she fell, All right. Jean Bebe nodded and squeezed through the gap of the iron bars of the anti-theft window. However, she could not squeeze through after a long time. She was immediately dumbfounded. Well, I don't think I can get in. Then how did you get out? Qing Menjing immediately said anxiously, Stop kidding me. Look at the situation right now. No, cousin Menjing. When I went out, because I was in the house and my feet were on the windowsill, I dared to exert my strength. However, the air conditioner under my feet was shaking, and I had to share the weight with my hands. How could I exert my strength? Jean Bebe said bitterly. Cheng Menjing was rendered speechless. She realized that it was indeed the case. How heavy could the stand of the air conditioner be able to support? If Jean Bebe exerted her strength, chances were that she would have stepped on it. However small and light Jean Bebe was, she was still 50 kilograms. Her breasts were heavy. Then what do we do? Should we pull her in together? Shen Jingxian was anxious, too. They could not stay outside forever. God knew when the air conditioner would fall. That's the only way. Cheng Menjing said. Bebe, give us your hand. We will pull you in. Okay. Jean Bebe turned her body sideways and extended her hand. Then she said, okay. Let's get started. Cheng Menjing and Shen Jingxian grabbed Jean Bebe's arm and pulled her into the house. Xiao Chen did not help her. After all, it was inappropriate for a man and a woman to touch each other. It was not appropriate for him to help her at this moment. He would help her later when it was too late. Wah, 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 wah. Stop it. It hurts. Jean Bebe screamed as she was pulled. What's wrong? Cheng Menjing and Shen Jingxian were shocked and hurried to stop. My breasts are going to explode. Jean Bebe screamed, it hurts. It hurts. It hurts. Cheng Menjing was speechless. Just bear with it. It's better than falling. Fine. Let's try again, Jean Bebe said, gritting her teeth. Therefore, Cheng Menjing and Shen Jingxian started to exert their strength again. However, Jean Bebe screamed again. No, no. My breasts hurt. I will die. Jean Bebe sounded like she was about to cry. Chapter 278. Xiao Chen is right next to us. Watch your mouth. Cheng Menjing reminded her. I'm about to die. What's there to watch? My cousin-in-law is not an outsider. Jean Bebe grimaced in pain. Then how did you get out? Cheng Menjing did not know what to do. You can't come back on your own, and you can't come back even if we pull you. What do you want exactly? I want to, too. Jean Bebe was rather happy a moment ago, but she was almost crying right now. I don't want to die. I don't have a boyfriend yet. Cousin-in-law, I'm going to die. Why don't you kiss me before I die and pretend to be my boyfriend? Bebe, you are purposely messing around, aren't you? Cheng Menjing could not help but frown after hearing that. Not exactly. She squeezed herself out by herself. She did it skillfully. If you pull her by force, it will be brute force. Of course, it's different. Xiao Chen did not know whether to laugh or cry. He said, now, there are two solutions. One is that I knock down the iron bars of the protective window, and the other is simpler. I'll stand downstairs, and Bebe will jump down. My sister will be there. Yes, yes, yes. Hearing what Xiao Chen said, Jean Bebe nodded quickly. Cousin-in-law, you are the best to me. Cousin Menjing is not. You little traitor. Cheng Menjing glared at Jean Bebe. She was somewhat angry, but she still asked concernedly, if you dismantle the protective window, you will have to tear down the entire window, won't you? Won't Bebe fall down? I'll try my best to be careful, Xiao Chen said. Or I'll jump down. Then, can you really catch me? Cheng Menjing, on the other hand, felt that it was a good idea. After all, the villa was rented, and it was not good to destroy it. Bebe, you'd better jump down. Jean Bebe said in a hurry, too. Bebe's legs are already weak. Okay. I'll go down. Then, you will jump if I tell you to. Xiao Chen nodded. Then, he quickly went downstairs and came to the yard of the villa. He raised his head and looked at Jean Bebe in the sky. It's done. You can jump down at any time. Ah, okay. Jean Bebe carefully turned around and faced Xiao Chen. Then, she said, "Cousin-in-law, I'm going to jump." "Okay." Xiao Chen nodded. "Bebe believes in you." Jean Bebe screamed and jumped down from the second floor. Cheng Menjing and Shen Jingxian, who were watching from behind, were very worried. "Please don't let anything go wrong." Of course, Shen Jingxian was not as good as Xiao Chen. She knew Xiao Chen's capability and knew that Jean Bebe would definitely be fine. Xiao Chen didn't disappoint her. He reached out and caught Jean Bebe. Then, following Jean Bebe's inertia, he took a few steps back and lay in the courtyard of the villa. In fact, it was because Xiao Chen had offset the acceleration of Jean Bebe's jump. Otherwise, if Jean Bebe crashed into him, he might be fine, but the strong impact might make Jean Bebe feel very uncomfortable. In this way, Jean Bebe basically didn't feel uncomfortable lying on Xiao Chen's body. However, their posture was slightly unsightly. It was as if Jean Bebe had pushed Xiao Chen down. Holy sh*t. It's always said that it's cool to push someone down. It's really cool to ride on my cousin-in-law. No wonder cousin Menjing likes to be a queen. Jean Bebe said. Cheng Menjing was about to ask how Jean Bebe and Xiao Chen were doing, but when she heard the first half of Jean Bebe's sentence, she was immediately infuriated. "What nonsense are you talking about?" However, the second half of Jean Bebe's sentence almost infuriated her. "How come I'm the topic of conversation? What kind of queen am I? I told you that it was a misunderstanding last time. Bebe, you're not dead, are you? If you're not dead, get up." Cheng Menjing snorted and said fiercely. "Oh, cousin Menjing is so protective of her food. I didn't really push her. I only pretended to push her," Jean Bebe said with a pout. "Shoo, shoo, shoo, you almost died just now. You're always looking for trouble. Let's see what you can do without Xiao Chen." Cheng Menjing lectured. "Isn't that because I have a cousin-in-law?" "It's all because of you, cousin, and your cousin-in-law," said Jean Bebe. "He is a servant selected by me. Of course, he is capable. If he is not, I will fire him," Cheng Menjing said. Jean Bebe's words made Shen Jingxuan's heart tighten a little. She could tell that Jean Bebe seemed to want Xiao Chen to be her cousin-in-law. Otherwise, she wouldn't have called him her cousin-in-law every time she opened her mouth. Shen Jingxian knew Jean Bebe very well. She was very clear about her likes and dislikes. It was impossible for her to talk about someone she did not like very often. She would only talk about someone she liked very often. However, had Menjing been treating Xiao Chen as a servant all the time? To be honest, although the women of the ancient warrior families didn't mind having multiple wives, one of them had to be the legal wife, right? Cheng Menjing was her bestie, and Xiao Chen was her bestie's ex-fiancé. If she snatched him away, it wouldn't make sense at all. Shen Jingxian was afraid that the sisters would not get along with each other because of such things, which would be a real headache for her. However, what could she do? Xiao Chen had to admit that it did feel quite good to be jumped on by Jean Bebe just now. However, it was inappropriate for Xiao Chen to enjoy himself in front of Shen Jingxian either. He helped Jean Bebe to her feet and stood up himself. "Alright, hide-and-seek is a draw, isn't it? Let's play something else instead of such a dangerous game." "You're right." Intimidated by Jean Bebe, Cheng Menjing did not dare to play anymore. God knew where the unfortunate girl would hide herself in a more dangerous place next time. This time, she had Xiao Chen's timely help, but what if he didn't come back next time? "I'm going to cook. You can discuss what to play." Xiao Chen nodded and went to work in the kitchen of the villa, leaving room for Cheng Menjing, Shen Jingxian, and Jean Bebe to whisper to each other. There were a lot of ingredients. Even though Yi Xiaoye had taken some of them away, there were still a lot of them left. The food that they cooked was still not enough to eat. After all, it was the first time that Shen Jingxian had come to visit. Xiao Chen had to prepare a few more dishes. "Menjing, are you and Xiao Chen living together now?" Glancing at Xiao Chen, who was busy in the kitchen, Shen Jingxian smiled and asked, somewhat in melancholy. If it were before, she would not have asked such a gossipy question, especially when she knew that Qing Menjing did not like Xiao Chen. But right now, Shen Jingxian did not believe that Qing Menjing had not noticed Xiao Chen's excellence after living with Xiao Chen for such a long time, especially when Jean Bebe was still persuading him. He is this lady's servant, Qing Menjing said. But from what I've seen, he is more or less qualified. I will continue to use him. Oh, have you ever thought about the future with him? Shen Jingxian asked. Future? What future? He's my servant, not my fiancé. How can there be a future? Qing Menjing's heart skipped a beat for no reason. She shook her head and said, let's not talk about Xiao Chen anymore. He makes me angry every day. Let's talk about Qin Jinpeng. Do you really want to marry him? Jean Bebe also nodded and said, yes, yes. That little shack is silly every day like an idiot. He is far worse than his brother. So what? The family arranged it. Of course, Shen Jingxian could not say that she had a secret relationship with Xiao Chen, nor could she be with Qin Jinpeng. Therefore, she could only give a perfunctory answer. Shen Jingxian felt a little uncomfortable after saying that. When had she ever lied to Qing Menjing before? If they hid things from each other, would they still be best friends? Jean Bebe suggested, why don't you follow my cousin-in-law? After all, he has been tested by Bebe and is very strong in that aspect. The three of us will be fine, too. You? Have you been tested? Shen Jingxian widened her eyes and looked at Jean Bebe in disbelief. No way. Did Xiao Chen do that with me? Gosh, why is there another Jean Bebe? Didn't we agree that there would only be one Tang Tang? Jingxian, don't listen to her nonsense. She said in the movies that a man who can run fast can last long in that aspect. The eldest miss blushed and said in a low voice. Anyway, they were all good sisters, and no one else heard it. Otherwise, she would not dare to talk nonsense. Oh. Shen Jingxian also blushed a little. Can it really last long? What does it feel like? However, in the eyes of Qing Menjing, Shen Jingxuan's blush was because of the topic. She did not know that she was thinking of Xiao Chen. By the way, Xiao Chen asked you to get in the car today. Why did you get in? Aren't you afraid of being implicated? Qing Menjing asked. Well, what should I do? They want to deal with Xiao Chen, and I can't just stand by and watch him. I just want to get in the car. Qin Jinpeng and Chao Yuliang can be merciful to me, but... Shen Jingxian shook her head. Yeah, it was the same when I got in the car last time. I felt that Chao Yuliang and Qin Jinpeng did not really like us. If it were Xiao Chen, he would definitely not do that. Qing Menjing nodded. The children of aristocratic families all focus on the interests of the family. Anything else can be a stepping stone to the top. Yeah, so Qin Jinpeng and I are destined to have a tragedy in the future. We'd better find a way to drag it out. Shen Jingxian gave Qing Menjing a warning. In fact, I suddenly realized that it would have been a good ending to marry Xiao Chen. If I became Chao Yuliang, God knows how I would have lived. Qing Menjing said with some emotion, after getting to know him, I found that Xiao Chen is really not as ignorant and incompetent as he was before. Then are you going to marry him? Shen Jingxian asked nervously. Well, it's not realistic. The Qing family will not agree. Let's not talk about this. Qing Menjing did not want to think about the topic that gave her a headache. Then how do you know that Xiao Chen will not put the interests of the family first? Shen Jingxian asked. I feel that he is very good to me, Qing Menjing said. Speaking of which, I am really poor. Shen Jingxian sighed. But this is also the sorrow of us, the children of aristocratic families. Chapter 279. Cousin Menjing, Sister Jingxian, you must know how to fight back. Why don't we elope with my cousin-in-law? Jean Bebe suggested. Pooh. Do you think every family is like yours? Cheng Menjing was immediately amused. Just be happy. Besides, I don't like Xiao Chen at all. Why would I elope with him? I don't hate him at all. All right. Cousin Menjing, you still need to work harder. Jean Bebe said. Bebe's sexual happiness will depend on you. If you like him, I can give him to you. I don't care. Cheng Menjing said. That's different. My sister-in-law stole my brother-in-law, and sharing my brother-in-law with my sister-in-law are two different things. The former will be scolded, but the latter is quite normal in a martial arts family. Jean Bebe said. Then don't think of me. Cheng Menjing ignored Jean Bebe's topic. The three of them chattered on about other things. Xiao Chen's food was ready, so he asked them to come over and eat together. Wow! So delicious. Bebe loves it. Looking at the delicious dishes on the table, Jean Bebe was drooling. Cheng Menjing and Shen Jingxian looked at Jean Bebe. It was quite a happy thing to have such a clown at home. After they sat down at the table, Shen Jingxian suddenly realized that Jean Bebe was not lying at all. Xiao Chen's cooking was indeed marvelous. It was as good as the food in a 5-star hotel. She had not eaten yet, but she was already hungry after smelling the aroma and looking at the color of the dishes. Sister Jingxian, this is delicious. You should have some, too. Jean Bebe picked up a lamb chop and said to Shen Jingxian. Okay. Hearing Jean Bebe's words, Shen Jingxian found it inappropriate to refuse. She picked up a lamb chop, too. However, before she started eating, Jean Bebe had finished her food. Sister Jingxian, this crispy duck is delicious too. You should have some, too. Jean Bebe picked up a piece of crispy duck and said to Shen Jingxian. Okay. Shen Jingxian picked up a piece of crispy duck as well. Sister Jingxian, this giant squid is delicious too. You should have some, too. Jean Bebe picked up a piece of squid and said to Shen Jingxian. Okay. Shen Jingxian picked up a piece of squid too. Bebe, not everyone eats as fast as you. You should eat by yourself. Can't you see that you've already eaten 3 pieces, but Jingxian hasn't eaten a single piece? Jingxian, Jean Jingxian said to Bebe, Bebe tu. Jingxian, this Jingsto tu. Ah. Oh. Jean Bebe quickly stopped talking to Shen Jingxian. However, after thinking for a while, she turned her head to look at Xiao Chen. Cousin-in-law, this crispy pork is delicious. Tu. The crispy pork is delicious. Following Jean Bebe, Xiao Chen picked up a piece of meat and ate it. Bebe, this spicy abalone is a new recipe. You should try it, too. Yes. Abalone is delicious. Cousin-in-law, you should eat some too. Jean Bebe ate an abalone. Shen Jingxian looked at Jean Bebe and Xiao Chen, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. These two, the two of them are like starving ghosts. Forget about them. Cheng Menjing said, let's eat our own food, but Xiao Chen's cooking is really delicious. Soon, Shen Jingxian understood why Cheng Menjing said so. It was more than delicious. It was simply too delicious. She suddenly envied Cheng Menjing's good fortune. Xiao Chen was truly a full-time expert now. Therefore, although Xiao Chen had cooked a lot, in the end, almost all the food on the table was gone. Even Shen Jingxian made an exception and ate a lot. She did not even have the main course but only the side dishes. She was almost stuffed. Jingxian, I didn't know that you could eat so much, Cheng Menjing said with a smile. You never brought me to eat such delicious food before. Are you my bestie? Shen Jingxian felt that it was too delicious. She had never tasted such delicious food in her life. If she stayed with Xiao Chen in the future, would she be able to eat it every day? No, she could not eat it every day, or she would turn into a fat girl. Xiao Chen would certainly not like it. But Tang Tang seemed to be an exception. I didn't have a chance before. Qing Menjing said, besides, didn't you eat the roasted shark last time? All right. Shen Jingxian thought of the delicious shark last week. After the meal, no one was willing to move. So Jean Bebe suggested that they play mahjong. In this way, they did not need to move and could digest the food. Neither Qing Menjing nor Shen Jingxian had any objection, nor did Xiao Chen. In this villa, there were many things left by the previous owners, including mahjong. Xiao Chen went to find them. Then, they set up a mahjong game on the table. The mahjong table was set up. Different places had different ways of playing. They were all from Songning City, so they played Songning mahjong. After a few rounds of mahjong, some of them won and some lost. However, Xiao Chen suddenly felt a pain on his thigh. He was stunned and turned around to look at Jean Bebe, who was sitting next to him, only to find that Jean Bebe was blinking at him secretly. Xiao Chen was a little confused. Why did Jean Bebe pinch me? However, before Xiao Chen figured out what was going on, he felt a heat on his thigh. It was Jean Bebe who put her hand on his thigh. What's going on? Is Jean Bebe playing a rogue? Could it be that Jean Bebe had gotten used to pushing him back and had started to flirt with him? However, Xiao Chen thought it was unlikely. So, he looked at Jean Bebe calmly. However, his puzzled look made Jean Bebe even bolder. She even hooked her finger on Xiao Chen's thigh. What is she trying to do? If it was Shen Jingxian who did it, Xiao Chen could understand. However, since it was Jean Bebe, Xiao Chen couldn't understand at all. Even though Jean Bebe was a little bold in her words, she had never done anything outrageous. San Bing. Just as Xiao Chen was feeling puzzled, Jean Bebe suddenly shouted and played a card. At the same time, the hand she placed on Xiao Chen's hands suddenly pinched him. Xiao Chen was in pain. However, the pain was nothing for Xiao Chen. It only made him more curious. What was Jean Bebe up to? Bebe, why are you so loud? Is there something wrong with you? You scared me. Qing Menjing immediately glared at Jean Bebe and scolded her. Hee. I was just too unlucky in the previous games. I was just cheering to cheer myself up. While talking, Jean Bebe began to draw on Xiao Chen's thigh again. However, after Xiao Chen calmed himself down, he found something wrong. Jean Bebe was writing on his thigh. If it were somebody else, it might be difficult for them to tell what Jean Bebe was writing. However, with his super senses, it was not difficult for Xiao Chen to tell that Jean Bebe was writing 8. So, Jean Bebe was cheating with him. Xiao Chen did not know whether to laugh or cry. It was just a game of cards. However, he and Jean Bebe had always cooperated well. After all, it was just a game. Since he happened to have 8 in his hand, he played it casually. 8. Eat. Jean Bebe was so excited that she almost flipped the mahjong table over. Bebe, calm down. What are you doing? Qing Menjing glared at her. Oh. It's not easy for me to have good cards. I'm too excited. Thank you, cousin-in-law. While talking, Jean Bebe blinked at Xiao Chen. However, in other people's eyes, Jean Bebe was merely thanking Xiao Chen for his accidental play. Only Xiao Chen himself knew that Jean Bebe was truly grateful for his cooperation. Later, with Xiao Chen's cooperation, it was almost impossible for Jean Bebe to lose. She won quite a few games in a row and acted as the banker. However, Jean Bebe's actions made Xiao Chen shudder with fear. If he were to say that he enjoyed it, he was afraid that the young mistress, especially Shen Jingxian, would see it. If he were to say that he did not enjoy it, it was pretty exciting. It was just like when he was having an affair with Jean Bebe in the closet, except that Jean Bebe was the one who played the role. To be honest, it was impossible for Xiao Chen not to have any thoughts when he was faced with Jean Bebe every day. However, he did not show it. That's not right. Xiao Chen, why do you play the cards that Bebe lacks? After a few games, Qing Menjing discovered the problem. Exactly. Shen Jingxian looked at Xiao Chen suspiciously, too. Xiao Chen, did you help Jean Bebe cheat? Shen Jingxian, on the other hand, did not think too much. Xiao Chen's senses were so keen that he could even notice the holes. Not to mention Jean Bebe's cards, in her opinion, it was Xiao Chen who helped her because he saw Jean Bebe's cards. How is it possible? Jean Bebe hurried to withdraw her hand from Xiao Chen's thigh. Then, as if it were not a big deal, she said, I'm lucky. My cousin-in-law and I are telepathic. How is it cheating? Qing Menjing stood up and said, I don't think it is right. Why don't we switch seats so that you don't have to sit next to him? Oh. That's fine. Bebe is lucky. He can have whatever he wants. Although Jean Bebe could not cheat anymore, she was still reluctant to admit it. Of course, she would never admit it. Otherwise, Qing Menjing would never play with her again. After switching seats, the cards were rearranged, and everybody began to draw their cards. Qing Menjing looked at Xiao Chen suspiciously and then at Jean Bebe. Although she did not know what the two of them were up to, she believed that something was definitely wrong. Xiao Chen and Jean Bebe were very close to each other. The two of them often played tricks. Chances were that they were really up to something. However, if the two of them were separated, they would not be able to play any tricks anymore. I'd like to see if you can still win this time, Bebe. Qing Menjing said. I have unparalleled luck. So, I can still win. Besides, he did not cheat at all. Jean Bebe said calmly. As it turned out, Jean Bebe was right. Although they had switched seats, Xiao Chen was still playing and winning whatever cards Jean Bebe was playing. There was no restriction on who was playing the cards, and Jean Bebe was still winning. This time, Qing Menjing did not think that Xiao Chen was helping Jean Bebe to cheat. The two of them were 20 meters away from each other. Even whispering and hinting would not work. How could Xiao Chen continue playing the cards that she needed? You're tuning in to the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.